Hello, folks. I have absolutely no idea if this is working because I am streaming from a hotel in Montreal. Because I am in a hotel in Montreal. And why is oh my God, my phone has made my headphones no longer work. Why are my headphones no longer working? Who knows? Okay, I think it's back. I have just my laptop and nothing else. So again, I'm going to watch chat so you can let me know if something is weird or sound levels are off or anything, but I may not necessarily be able to actually have any idea whether something is wrong or not. But we're gonna surely try. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna content warning the living daylights out of this thing. This episode has body horror, realistic gore, parental abuse, poisoning, non-consensual drug use, possible major character death, unreality, manipulation, loss of control, loss of self, parental death, car accidents, being held against one's will, guns, murder, matricide, depression, amputation, child amputation, auditory gore, stalking, implied sex, mutilation, possibly unwanted advances, decapitation, dismemberment, PTSD, memory loss, unreality, and gaslighting. I have no idea what's going to be happening in this chapter, but maybe we'll finally get some answers, although those content warnings make me think we might be getting more questions. But yeah, so here we go. Here goes mostly nothing, I guess. I need to, you know what? I have my phone here, so we'll see. All right, so this is the on-screen content warning for the new splash screen. So the new install comes with this one. It's a horror game, not intended for all audiences. Won't be able to save everyone. You might not even be able to save yourself. Welcome home. So we're going to play my, what I'm calling my canon run, which I'm actually going to redo after I do this, because I cannot wait to do Chapter 4. But after I do it once, I'm going to redo this Mystic Book Smarts run, because they added a bunch of more info to Mystic, so I want to redo it. But I'm going to play this anyway. So let's see. Load. So we want. I want to say. Oh no, we don't want to be on page 1. So we are going to want. So this was chapter 1, and I think I'm trying to find my save because you can't name saves in this game. Okay, Wednesday, chapter end. So this is the end of chapter 3, like from last March. So I think this is my canon run. Yep, episode 4 waits. If you'd like to save before continuing, please do so now. So yes, let's save, and we're gonna actually, I'm going to override here and put it in the front. Where is my, okay, so return, and I want to look at the journal. So this is our journal and our major decisions. So we're mystical book smart. We, we returned to Cousin's estate before going to bed. We did not stay with Stella. We did watch Duke die. We, on Tuesday, we discovered that Mayor is the dog, rode with Kanika to the mines, discovered what happened to Stella's parents, spoke with all 3 groups of miners, warned Tabitha about the teens, went after Becca and Alexis, and Rosalina lost her leg. And we don't have the summary of day 3 until soon. So we're going to continue. And it's been forever, so let's watch a recap. Ah, yes. So we had a terrible bus ride where we met Weirdo Dude. Went to the funeral of Pearl and Scarlet, cousin's mother and your aunt. Seemed like something you shouldn't ignore, even considering your own late mother's rocky relationship with this side of the family. Welcome to our family's humble estate, said Cousin Tabitha. Unfortunately, due to the current state of the house, only a few rooms will be safely accessible during your stay. I wouldn't go wandering anywhere else if you value your limbs. The floors have been known to give out. So that was, that was our warning. We met Stella, and we found weird mutated deer in the woods. So here's our single deer remaining behind, staring down a beam of Stella's flashlight while Gretchen whines and pulls at her harness. Come on, you, whatever your name is, grab that flashlight and help me line up a good shot. As the creatures in the tree line grow louder and more numerous, Gretchen violently strains against her harness. So we dove forward and we scooped up Gretchen in our arms just before she managed to wriggle out of her harness. And that's when we saw accidentally Duke shoot himself. The cops were very small town cops to us and accused us of basically being there when bad things happened, as cops do. We went to meet up with Sybil and Kanika. She told us about the ditchlings and how they are, in fact, a terrible, terrible omen. And then we went to sleep. And then on the next day, Tabitha was somewhat cranky with us, but at least we went home to bed. We did not stay over at Stella's, which is one of the other options. Don't want to hear complaints. Just do what I ask and we won't have any more problems. Tabitha takes a few steps towards the door. Sunset. Yeah, so she wants us home before sunset. We hung out with Avery at the diner and told him everything that happened the night before. And we got, some diner stuff and weird chaga tea. And then we went to the library and met Oscar, who was missing his kid, Rosalina, which we didn't know anything about. But, we did a bunch of research with books, and then we went to meet up with Reese. We tried to meet up with Reese. We met Dr. Kelly. And Dr. Kelly was very cranky and would not let Reese come hang out with us. And we arranged to have dinner the next day at his house. We went to explore the mine because we are gluttons for danger, and we ran into Wayne. Still don't know what Wayne is, but he's clearly kind of decomposing under that veil. And yeah, so that's a thing that's happening. And then we we talked to all the miners, and then we saw Rosalina out of the corner of our eyes with a bunch of snacks. And she went into the abandoned mine because she's a smart girl like that. Guess the old Maxwell's place doesn't cut it as a secret hangout spot these days. The Shaw mine, that place was shut down like 100 years ago. After a collapse that killed over 100 people. We called Tabitha to let her know that teenagers are hanging out in the mine. And I think we waited for Tabitha. Oh, yes, and Becca was terrible. And Tabitha was like, nope, your dad is going to lose his job because you're hanging out in the mine. You dumbass. So that's a thing that was happening. And that's when we find out that Oscar thinks Rosalina and his house is haunted. And then we heard what everybody thought was Tommyknockers, and the teens ran off. So we had to follow them, and also I think, yeah, we saw a weird seal, and Tabitha and I had a vision, and we ran into Rosalina, but Becca and Alexis were still down there, and because I couldn't even, we tried to rescue them, we did, but the mine collapsed, and Rosalina had to have her foot amputated. And we rode back with Tabitha, and everything was slightly sad. And, we kept seeing flashbacks to Rosalina. Unsurprising. And now there are two possums in our drawer. Dustin and Dustin's mom. We also met Janie, who is the housekeeper who comes to the house. And she tells us to talk to her husband, who is the preacher. I think she does, anyway. I think she told us that. And we ran into Sybil at the store. And then Sybil and Tabitha hang out and talked about something that Tabitha is keeping and needs to get fed. And meanwhile, we ran into Duke's son, Beau, and we told him where his dad died. And then we hung out with Tabitha in some properties that she owns, where she, I guess, goes to chill in one of the houses. We met the mayor, Mayor Jimmy. He's a dog, which is mildly terrifying. He has a little sash and everything. We met the preacher, and something totally compels us to dislike him. So I know that in the run with Speak to Animals, we learned that he also speaks to animals, which is weird and creepy. And he is Janie's husband, and he's the pastor. Everybody totally finds him creepy. Then we met Reese, and he does a bunch of weird, creepy art in the basement. And some of the art is about ditchlings, because he keeps seeing them. And then we have dinner. It's kind of terrible. We talk about watching movies. Dr. Kelly gives Reese meds, and Reese gets sick eventually. He complains about, hanging out, wanting to be able to hang out, and then has some pain and, gets sick. I think we accused Dr. Kelly of poisoning him. Then we came to Oscar's house because we're going to do an exorcism. Apparently everybody is here with us, and including Rosalina and Tabitha. And we are all going to have a good time, by which I mean, oh God. And you can see, right, there's this lovely giant blood stain on the floor. None of Stella's equipment actually measures anything. But there is a trapdoor under the carpet. And she opens it, and it gets cold. And me and Tabitha, we end up having this weird nightmare vision of the ghost. And everybody else was puppeted and controlled and playing a part, where we learned that Charles Shaw, who's accused of having caused the mine collapse, which we learned he didn't really in our vision, at the mine. But we learned that he came back as an adult to his friend Edwardine, who is actually well, yeah, Tabitha and I are cousins. Edwardine was great grandma, I think. She was Pearl Ann's grandma, not mom, I think. We also saw Ditchlings there and ran into Wayne. Wayne and Tabitha. So Wayne used to date Tabitha, but then he became, whatever this is. And here we are. He squished a ditchling. And then the ghost that's causing all of this was like, you owe me years of life. But because I had the Booksmart trait, we did not actually end up paying the ghost. We just made him go away. And when we did that, we eventually, well, it's not going to show us, but there was a seal there. Basically, Charles was trying to figure out a way to escape, and Edwardine killed him, but she was pregnant. And we found his skeleton on top of a seal. But also, we got out and we got rid of the ghost, and we tried to talk to Stella, and she's like, I can't talk to you. And Sybil said, let's talk tomorrow. Sybil is very mystic and very sus and kind of evil. I think she's kind of evil. I don't actually know. She's very sus. So we're gonna start up chapter 4. Family's musty covers. Spirit of Charles Shaw Jr. has been put to rest, but disaster still looms over the town of Scarlet Hollow. Still, tonight was a good night, and you fall asleep with a gentle, well-earned smile on your face. So, that would be the end of the recap. I'm going to just check on all my kind of levels of all the things that I've got here. And kind of try to see that I have everything. Let me just put in one of those messages and check in here to make sure that everything is all right in the various windows I have going. And yeah, try to figure out what we're doing in chapter 4. So let's wake up. You open your eyes. It's a new day. Okay, so I think that means we might have, yep, there we go. We do have Wednesday. So let's take a look at what's happening on Wednesday. Found a second opossum in my dresser. Finally took a shower. Met Janie, the pastor's wife, who cleans the estate. Hospital had to amputate Rosalina's foot. Met Beau, the late Duke's enormous son. Spent some quality time with my cousin. One of these days she'll finally warm up to me. Met the mayor. Met Scarlet Hollow's resident creepy pastor. Had dinner at Reese's. There's something hidden in the clinic, and it wants me to find it. Oh, I think it must be a seal. Invited Tabitha and Avery ghost hunting. Argued a ghost into unhaunting the library. Objection. Made plans with Sybil to talk about mysterious goings-on over tea tomorrow. Okay, so yep, we open our eyes, it's a new day. Last night seems so far away, you can almost pretend the horrors you witnessed in the annex were nothing but a nightmare chased away by the harsh morning's light. An involuntary shudder runs down your spine, but your thoughts are interrupted by the buzz of your phone on a nightstand. Kanika, I hope you made it home okay. Haven't heard from Stella since last night. How about you? You check your messages. There's nothing from Stella. Let's call her. You dial Stella. Stella, hey, what's up? Nothing. Ha, just kidding. I'm not able to come to the phone right now. This is actually a recording of my voice. It isn't really me. Technology, huh? Anyway, I'll leave a message. Or don't. I never check this thing. The mailbox is full and can't accept messages at this time. Okay, let's text her. Hey. You wait for a few silent minutes. A message sits undelivered. Haven't heard from her either. Kanika, that's not good. I think we should try looking for her. Let's meet up in town. Looks like you have your morning plans in order. Okay, we're not taking a shower. Let's check the closet. You make your way to the closet. There's no denying it. The doll moved at some point since your most recent visit. What? But your long-dead relative's creepy doll isn't the only thing that's different. Someone was in here. Something to mull over for the rest of the day. We're just gonna ignore this, the fact that somebody was in there? Okay, let's visit the opossums. You open the drawers. The two opossums stare up at you. They both have bread now. That's nice. So somebody's giving them bread. Let's wave. You wave at them. They continue to stare up at you blankly in response. Okay, cool. You close the drawers. This is their home now, and there's nothing you can do to change that. We are not taking a shower. We took a shower yesterday. Time to face your cousin. You find her in the kitchen, her shoulders hunched in a tight ball of anxiety. They're striking. This week, of all weeks, as if I didn't have enough on my plate already. Look smart. If history is anything to go off of here, it almost doesn't matter how strong the strike seems. This is Tabitha's battle to lose. There isn't a union in Scarlet Hollow, which means a proper strike isn't even legal. Your cousin can do pretty much whatever she wants. She could fire everyone and wait them out, for instance, or pick and choose her targets. Like she told you yesterday, she owns most of the houses in town, after all. There's a lot of ways she can apply pressure to resolve a strike. That being said, does it even matter how the strike plays out? Any resolution would merely treat the symptoms of the disease rotting the heart of Scarlet Hollow. For things to stand any chance of getting better, there is something deeper you still have to fully uncover. It feels good, doesn't it, getting rid of something our family left behind like that? Sure, but you did most of the heavy lifting there. So ghosts are real. I still can't get over that. I can. What does that actually change about anything? I still have a mind to run, and you still have a funeral to attend. Okay, Tabitha. Have you heard anything from Stella? I can't get a hold of her. No, but that's not exactly newsworthy. I'm sure she's just processing what happened last night. We weren't the only ones who were traumatized. Hmm. Strike. Okay, yeah. Let's. The strike is just a symptom of the rot in this place, Tabitha. If we don't treat the underlying disease, it won't even matter who wins. Don't worry yourself about this little rabble. They won't last long. Trust me. Usually I'm pro-union, but your mom just died. Can they not? Right? Let me at least get her in the ground first. But it's fine. I'm going to sort this out. I just need to keep things together long enough for the mind to get back on its feet. Then everyone will be happy and we can all go back to normal. Do you know what the strikers even want? I haven't seen the list of demands. I'm sure it's just the usual. I promise you that if any of them were in my shoes for a month, they'd be singing a different tune. Okay, I'm not going to tell her she saw this coming, and I know the ditchlings were not predicting a strike. Let's remain silent. I've dawdled long enough. Stay safe. No more hijinks. But let me know if you get in trouble, okay? Tabitha slips past you, her heavy boots thudding down the hall as she marches away to face her employees. Time to figure out the rest of your day. Well, let's fuel up with a quick PB&J. If Stella's MIA, who knows when you'll get a chance to eat. You make yourself a PB&J in anticipation of the long day ahead of you. And that's that. Okay, I guess let's head to town. You head to the front door and begin your trek to the town below. The sun shines down through a thin layer of clouds, illuminating the path in a watery gray light. You can't help but feel countless eyes watching you from the tree line, a feeling that reminds you of your time in the woods with Stella. Ditchlings shouldn't be out in the middle of the day, though. They're getting bolder. Yeah, there's definitely ditchlings. Look at that. To your surprise, you find a familiar face making its way up the path towards you. Avery, hey, I was just coming up to see you. Hope you were able to get some sleep after everything that happened last night. I was up most of the night, totally wired on adrenaline. Well, so we can be... I don't think I want to flirt. I should say the mystical thing. How do you feel now that it's a new day? Possession is the sort of thing that can leave a mark on a person's soul. Aw, thanks for asking about the state of my soul. I appreciate that. I'd be lying if I said it didn't have an impact. I kind of feel bruised all over, physically and spiritually. But hey, that's part of life, right? Nobody makes it to the end completely unscathed. And I'm kind of thrilled that my new emotional baggage comes from a ghost instead of some boring normal trauma. Okay. There's ditchlings everywhere now, even though it's daytime. Avery turns to survey the tree line. I noticed a few on my way up. They're kind of funny now that I'm getting a good look at them, with their scrunched up little Shar-Pei faces. So, should I be worried about these things? I know they're a bad omen or something, but like, are they dangerous? They're not gonna eat me if I take a wrong turn, right? Hmm, let's be book smart. Not eaten, just using an incubator. That's probably worse, though. I don't know. They've just been using wild animals so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if they switch to larger prey soon. An incubator? So they don't eat people? That's not so bad. I could handle a couple of eggs under my skin. Ah, let's go with the obvious. What? You don't agree? That's fine. To each their own. But I'm the kind of person who wouldn't mind giving a couple of weird little creatures a warm place to pupate if I ever have it to spare. Okay, that's gross, Avery. That is gross. And if they don't kill me? Um, have you heard anything from Stella? I haven't heard from her, though we don't text much, and I haven't checked with Winnie to see if she came in for an early breakfast or anything. But if you haven't heard from her, that doesn't sound great. Seeing her like that last night was awful. She's usually so unflappable. Kanika and I are meeting up to look for Stella. Want to come? Absolutely. I told Winnie I'd be coming in late today, so I've got time. Don't know how much time, though. From what I saw this morning, the diner is hopping. It's absolutely packed with miners. They must be using it as a home base for the strike. Oh, by the way, there's a strike going on. I'm sure you already knew that, though. I have to imagine Tabitha would have told you this morning. Yeah, let's just go to town. You and Avery start back down the path to town. It isn't long until you once again find yourself on the main street of Scarlet Hollow. Anna, you made it, and you picked up an Avery along the way. Hope you're both doing okay, like, emotionally. Yeah, I'm not too bad. That's good. I feel like I got crushed by a steamroller or something. Joints all out of whack, totally exhausted, and super foggy. Mom has been insisting I caught a cold, and I wasn't buying it, but as of this morning, I've come around. It's definitely something beyond exhaustion, even considering the ridiculously stressful week we've all had. But I'm not going to let that stop me from looking for Stella. I'm supposed to see your mom at some point today. Maybe she'll finally shed some light on things. Not sure what she's planning to tell you today that she couldn't have told us all last night. Maybe she's going to read your fortune. After last night, I wouldn't doubt she actually could. Your mom's always had a bit of that Glinda vibe going for her. Yeah, maybe I should stop making fun of her whole New Age mystic thing. Lots happened in the last couple of days. Ugh, I need to take a page out of Stella's book and just block this shit out. I need to be focused. I can't keep having all these existential crises. There'll be plenty of time for tea after we've found Stella. Okay. Let's explore this one. Do you still think there could be a rational explanation for all of this? Kanika sighs heavily. Rational? Sure. Rooted in the reality that until a few days ago I thought was devoid of all magic and supernatural shit? No. Ghosts are real. They can suck you into illusory dimensions and puppet your body like a fleshy marionette. Next thing you know, we'll find out there's a secret society of warlocks running the country, or that angels are real. You gotta admit, it's kind of thrilling, isn't it? Anything could be possible. Who knows what the new day holds for all of us? It would be a little more thrilling if it weren't terrifying. All the magical stuff we've found so far just wants to hurt us. We need a magical being that's on our side. Where are the magical girls when you need them? Maybe my mystical power will finally awaken to something more proactive. I'm sick of just unwillingly channeling spirits and knowing when something bad is going to happen. Maybe magic doesn't just awaken, though. Maybe you need to find someone to teach you how to use it. Okay. Who? Isn't it obvious? Your mom's a witch, Kanika. How else can you explain her rescuing all of us last night? My mom? No way. She's just a New Age crystal and herbs lady. She's not... she couldn't be, right? After last night, anything's possible. And she did rescue everyone from the ghost dimension. If my mom is magic, it would mean my whole life has been a lie. Ugh. I need to take a page out of Stella's book and just block this shit out. I need to be focused. Can't keep having all these existential crises. Okay, she already said that. Alright, I don't care about the general store. Yeah, there we go. Let's not dawdle. I'm worried about Stella, and it doesn't feel right to be doing anything that isn't actively looking for her. Agreed. Let's get to work. Where to first? Okay, so we've got Stella's house, cops, Oscar, and the diner, the mines, and the church. Let's go to Stella's house first. Okay, let's go to Stella's house. Good place to start. Maybe she just slept in. That's what I'm hoping. I would have gone already, but I was kind of nervous about doing anything by myself today, just in case I run into yet another horror from beyond the veil or whatever. You make your way towards Stella's house. Kanika knocks anxiously on the door. It creaks open. The interior is cold, and not just physically. There's an absence of joy and life that leaves only a chill behind. The chill of an empty house and the sobering dread that comes with the knowledge that your search won't end here. I don't sense anything supernatural here, but I don't like the look of this. Might as well invite ourselves in, right? Let's just get in there. You take a step forward and cross the threshold into Stella's house. Whatever happened to Stella, it doesn't look like it happened here. Doesn't look like there was a struggle or anything, unless it happened in another room, or maybe someone or something caught her off guard. You didn't have to add that last part. I'm going to forget that you said that and just be thankful that this doesn't look like a crime scene. Okay, so we've got kitchen and Stella's room. Let's look at the kitchen first. Stella's kitchen is slightly messy. A couple cabinets are hanging open, and a loaf of bread sits on the counter by a used butter knife. Looks normal to me. I don't know. It's a little messy. If this is a little messy, I don't want to know what you'd call my room. Wasn't judging. There's nothing wrong with a little mess. Or a lot of mess. We're getting off track. Stella's house has always felt a little sterile to me. This feels a little too lived in, if that makes sense. Though maybe that's just because I've only ever been over when she was already expecting me. Maybe this is just a rare peek behind the curtain at the real Stella. The real Stella should call her friends and let them know she's okay. Okay, let's look at her room. You make your way down the hall to what you assume to be Stella's room. She's not here. Though it's a little untidy, it's the usual sort of untidiness that accumulates when someone doesn't often have guests in their bedroom. There aren't any signs of violence, but there is a board with all the, like, little red lines on here and stuff. And poster of cryptids. Like post-it notes. I'm just looking at Stella's stuff. She has a plushie of Gretchen. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I'd better not hear a single comment about this room being messy. I wasn't going to say anything. Okay, let's check her computer. You go to check Stella's computer. I'm not sure we should be snooping on her computer. Isn't that an invasion of privacy? We already broke into her house, right? For all we know, there could be some sort of clue on there, like a note detailing exactly where she is. We didn't break into her house. The door was left wide open. Well, maybe the computer was left open too. Exactly. If there isn't a password, maybe we're supposed to take a peek. Maybe we'll find the first note on the elaborate scavenger hunt she set up overnight. Sure, snoop away, but I'm not going to take part in this. I'll just be over here, standing in the corner of the room, not looking over your shoulder. Let me know if you find anything. Stella's desktop is horrifically cluttered. There are simply too many files and folders to fit on her monitor. And they overlap each other in a chaotic, multi-layered display. Oh my god. Child of the 90s here. He's got like little doodles. That's so cute. Nice try, Mr. FBI. Okay. Whoa, how do we find anything on here? You don't. Come on, let's go. Let's sift through the chaos. You've spent plenty of time with computers and are more than capable of sifting through. Chaos of a messy desktop. One folder catches your eye. Boring tax stuff. Years of helping friends with their computers have made you all too familiar with this folder. Boring tax stuff never contains boring tax stuff. For that matter, it never contains anything related to taxes, and its contents are never boring. Oh my god! Look at that. You open the folder. You're surprised to find it contains a carefully mapped out diagram of the Scarlet Hollow mines, including the holes in fences and areas with low visibility. Fascinating. There's also a handful of old photos of Stella and Tabitha together as teenagers. Tabitha wears an uncharacteristic grin, an authentic, joyful smile, and Stella's eyes are somehow brighter, less tired. Both of them seem to be living in a happier time. Okay, I take it back. This is way too personal. I'll just join Kanika in the corner while you wrap things up. Let's check tabs. It would take you all day to count the number of open tabs in Stella's browsers. So numerous are her tabs that you can't see a single icon, a sea of rounded, featureless triangles from Windows Edge to Windows Edge. Her most recently open tab is a post on Uncle Carl's Bigfoot Farm, a forum for cryptozoology enthusiasts. You've visited Uncle Carl's Bigfoot Farm in the past. Despite the name, and despite the fact that posters call themselves Carl's Big Feet, the community takes itself very seriously, and it's one of the more consistently active cryptid boards on the web. The post in question is titled "Something Big is Happening in Scarlet Hollow." Hey everyone! Was out chasing a skunk ape sighting the other day, and I found these weird little guys. My friend's mom says there's something called ditchlings, but I've never heard of them before. Anyone have any good leads? camera isn't shaky enough. This is totally staged. Clean footage and some sort of cryptid nobody has heard of except for your friend's mom. The only thing I'm seeing when I Google ditchlings is some city in England. Thought you were legit. Guys, since when did high quality footage count as anything other than actual evidence? Those things are terrifying. Since every low budget horror movie started doing guerrilla marketing, I smell an ARG. I'm serious, I've got a ton of extra footage. Look at this nest. They've been doing something to the animals in town, and they're apparently some sort of bad omen, like Mothman. Okay, I'm listening. I love me a Mothman. I believe you. Ugh, lucky you're falling right into her lap. I don't trust YouTubers. They're entertainers, not scientists. The thread continues into the next day. Hey, okay, so one, this isn't an ARG. I would never. And two, you're not going to believe this, but we went to the abandoned mine last night to investigate things, and I'm pretty sure we found some Tommy knockers. Listen to this knocking we managed to catch on tape. There's a link to an audio file named Tommy Knockers Are Real.wave. Just because you put the word real in your file name doesn't mean they're real. 2 supernatural events on back-to-back nights? This is so fake. I can't believe I bought into the River Runner hype. You're so full of it. YouTubers are always going to sell out to big indie horror. This is Kidnapped by Aliens all over again. Also, lol, doughy white things and now loud popping noises. There's definitely an ARG. Did you sell out to Pillsbury? Stop cyberbullying her or I'm going to call the mods. Locking this thread and giving everybody a 7-day ban, no cyberbullying, and no self-promo. The thread ends. Let's look at her search history. You check Stella's search history. She hasn't visited any websites since Tuesday night. If she came home after last night's incident, she didn't touch her browser. Her search history is almost entirely work-related. A furious series of queries for various monsters and cryptids that might fit the profile of ditchlings. That's that. Okay, I think we've seen enough. Thank God. Achievement unlocked. Hacker Man. Okay. Don't think there's any clues here. I don't think so either. This is what her room's been like for pretty much the entire time I've known her. The only thing that's changed is the computer getting a lot fancier. I could use a few more houseplants. I'll put together some trimmings after we've found her. Ah, she still does that corkboard with string things. She loves putting the strings on there. I don't think they actually mean anything, but they're more for decoration anyway. Okay, I don't think we're going to find much else here. Let's move on. Achievement unlocked. Still life. Okay, so maybe she came home last night. Maybe she didn't, but she's definitely missing. I thought I was overreacting this morning. I hope she would just be sleeping in. I can't believe she's actually missing. We'll find her. Where to next? Okay, I want to save. So let's save here, just in case, because I don't know how many searches we get, and I kind of want to try them all. Go to the cops, check in on Oscar, the diner, the mines, the church. Let's check out the church. We should check out the church. The church? Why? I see what you're thinking. Stella was confronted with evidence of the afterlife, so she might try getting into all that religious stuff. It's worth checking out. I think we'd be barking up the wrong tree, but I guess you're right. There's no point in not being thorough. Mostly I want to go because I've been meaning to go to the church, because Pastor Daniel is creepy. I wouldn't mind stocking up on some holy water while we're there, too. Seems like a good idea to cover all our bases at this point. I don't think Baptists do the holy water thing, but I'm sure Pastor Daniel would pretend to bless some water if it meant keeping us around a little longer. It's good enough for me. God, Avery. Let's not linger, though. I don't want him thinking we're possible converts. Kanika leads the way, taking you up the gradual slope towards the church. You know, I've lived here for a few years now, and I've never actually been to the church. That's probably for a good reason. Where is that weirdo? Ah, there's the weirdo. My, 4 visitors at once? On a Thursday? This is unprecedented. Wait, 4? But there are only 3 of us. Oh, no. Were we followed by a ditchling? Zane, sup, old people. Oh, it's just Zane. What are you doing here? All the glimpses of death I've had in the past 2 days have forced me into the midst of an existential crisis, my dudes. I wanted to see if faith held any answers for me. Alas, I have not yet found the solace I seek. Give it time, Zane. It sometimes takes a while for the Lord to work his way into your heart. But when he does, you won't regret letting him in. Be sure to look over those pamphlets I gave you, and of course, I'm always here if you need to talk. Sure thing, Pastor D. Peace, y'all. Anyway, we're looking for Stella. She wandered off last night and no one has seen her since. We're starting to get pretty worried. We hope maybe you or Janie had seen her. Can't speak for Janie, but I'm afraid I've seen neither hide nor hair of Stella. If you'd like to talk to my wife, she's just over by the alpacas. Though, Anna, I was hoping we might be able to talk in private. Uh, what do you have to say to her that you can't say in front of us? Please, if you wouldn't mind, this is a personal matter. It's all right. We can get the juicy details later. I'd rather folks not pry on this. You know how rumors get started. Uh, yeah, okay, let's talk to him. It's okay. I'm happy to talk to him. If you're sure, I guess we'll leave you to it while we check in with Janie. We'll be right over there by the fence that's conveniently in your line of sight, okay? See you in a minute. Your friends head off towards Janie and the alpacas, leaving you alone with the nervous pastor. I'm so glad you decided to come up to visit me. So many young people these days seem to think they can solve all their problems on their own. Meanwhile, God is right there ready to help them if only they'd let him into their hearts. Pastor's eyes darted back towards the alpacas. Okay, good, they're gone. You're new in town. What kind of impression did I make on you? Am I creepy? Whenever I see you, it's like this ominous little piano starts playing. You're talking about a metaphorical piano, right? Because I can't say I've ever heard one following me around. It wasn't always like this, you know. Believe it or not, before I moved to Scarlet Hollow, I used to be pretty popular. I was one of the cool kids over at Harvard Divinity School. He's interrupted by the sound of a snapping twig and a high-pitched giggle, partly muffled by the underbrush on the edge of the property. Tulip, come out of there. You know you're not supposed to play in the woods. Tulip glances back into the woods, quiet as she hesitates. Tulip, are you going to be good, or are we going to skip story time tonight? I'll be good. You don't have to skip story time. I won't go into the woods, I promise. I know you won't, Tulip, because you know it's too dangerous for little girls in there. Why don't you go help Mama with the alpacas? It's just about time they got fed. You can give them hay. Tulip smiles broadly, seemingly excited by the prospect, and hurries off. Sorry, I had a parenting moment just then. She's been trying to run off into those woods a lot lately, and it's really dangerous, even for adults. There's this massive trash dump not too far past the trees, but it must be at least 50 years old, so it's all grown over and looks like it's part of the landscape. But if you accidentally walk on it, you might find yourself falling into a hip-deep mound of rusty cans and broken glass. Tulip made up some imaginary friends and keeps telling us that they want her to go out there like the world of some fictional creatures she made up is going to convince us it's a good idea for her to play in somebody's old garbage. But she's 7. Of course she would get some funny little ideas like that. I'd love to get the community to rally around a big cleanup. It's about time somebody got rid of all that junk. Hmm, What's that you were saying about imaginary friends? Oh, she's just been talking about these friends of hers lately, little stories about creatures that live in the church. I'm sure she saw some animals in there and decided it was her friend. It's nothing to be overly concerned about, except the trash heap situation. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Kanika and Avery walking back to the two of you. They must have finished talking to Janie. Janie says she hasn't seen Stella either, so we'd better get going. Thanks for suggesting we head up here, Anna. We got to feed the alpacas. They were so cute and soft, it was awesome. And Janie says she'll come by the diner with cookies for the miners, and a few extra for me, of course. Hope your talk with the pastor went well. Yep, we had a great conversation. I appreciate you all stopping by, even if it wasn't under the best circumstances. I'll let you all be on the way. And I hope Stella turns up soon. I'll put in some good prayers with the big man for her. All right. Thanks. See ya. Kanika and Avery started back down the path to town, and you follow. Achievement unlocked. The smallest church in Scarlet Hollow. So, what was that about? He seemed pretty insistent on talking to you alone. Yeah, he didn't say anything weird, did he? Hmm. Tulips apparently made some weird imaginary friends. We might want to check it out later this week. Kids make up imaginary friends all the time. Let's not get too distracted until we find Stella, though. Where to next? Well, let's save again. Okay, so cops, Oscar, diner, miners. Hmm, let's go with Oscar. We should check in on Oscar. He's smart. Maybe he'll know what to do. I hope nothing else happened after we all went home last night. They're so brave for sleeping in that house after everything we went through. I'd rather sleep in the woods with the ditchlings than someplace that was that haunted. Your mom said it's safe, and I'm inclined to believe her. Why would she lie? Ugh, because she's creepy and evil? I don't know. But how would she know that? Magic, probably. But there's only one way to find out. Let's go. Achievement unlocked. Library card. Okay. Morning light streams in through the library's large windows. In the bright daylight, the library is once again a place of comfort, all menace having fled in the wake of Charles Shaw Jr.'s departure. No ghost, thank God. I was not up for an encore. Yeah, it's gone, just like your mom said it would be. I guess Oscar must be in back. I know that's where I'd be if I finally got my house back. I've always been surprised at how unsupervised this place is. Sometimes it feels like anyone could just walk in and do whatever they wanted. Like what? Steal books? I mean, they could, right? I'm not saying anyone would. I'm just saying that people in this town trust each other a lot. It's nice. Let's go find Oscar. You make your way back towards the annex. It feels strange to be back here in the light of day, as if the events of the previous evening were all just a terrible dream. Mystic. More accurately, it feels as if the events of the previous evening were mostly just a dream. That hideous stone carving is still buried in the basement, and though it's subtle and subdued, you can still feel the faintest of hums reaching out from it. This hallway really takes me back. It feels like it was only yesterday that we were last here, blissfully unaware that our entire lives are about to change forever. What is that sound? It was only yesterday. I know. Kanika knocks on the door. Oh, good morning. It's so good to see all of you. Please, come on in. You're doing really great, Rosalina. Not a lot of kids your age can take shots that well. You're being so brave. You don't have to talk to me like I'm 5, but you are brave. You really are, Rosalina. You're like so badass. Alexis is right. This is more than most people have to deal with their whole lives, and here you are, taking it like a champ. Dr. Kelly's kind demeanor vanishes as she turns and glares at you. Oh, I see we have visitors. Should y'all be traumatized? Have any of you seen Stella since last night? Not since dinner. She hasn't gotten in touch with any of you? Hmm. I'm starting to freak out a little. I really care about her, and she's just gone. It's okay, Anna. We're gonna find her. That's not good. I haven't seen her since she ran off last night. I feel terrible. This is my fault, isn't it? I should have done a better job warning her. Stella was practically banging down your door trying to get evidence of ghosts. I don't think you were going to be able to stop her. There is no way you could have known how she would react when she found it. I don't even think she knew how she'd react. Besides, you didn't know how bad it was going to get. You can't blame yourself for everything, man. I know you probably feel like it's your responsibility to make sure everyone around you is okay, but sometimes that's just not going to be possible. You're only one guy. That's what Rosalina always saying. I suppose I do apologize more than I should. You really do. Okay, well, How is she, Doc? She can tell us herself. What do you say, Rosalina? How are you? Tired. My leg hurts a lot. But the medicine is helping. It's not so bad now. Plus, I got to lie down in an actual bed last night, and you have no idea how good that felt. Thanks, Anna. Can't believe you got any sleep last night after all that ghost stuff. I just sat on the couch with all the lights on. I don't think I slept at all. I really needed some rest after, the hospital and my foot. Your body's desperately trying to get you to rest. All that activity yesterday was pretty brutal on your injury. It's never going to stop hurting if you keep pushing yourself. So, what are you not going to do today? Anything? That's right. You're staying right here. No walking around, no investigating haunted houses. Sorry, Dr. Kelly. I should have been better at stopping her. Oscar. I take full responsibility. As her father, I should have. No need for anyone to step in to take blame for anything. It's the hospital's fault for sending her home at all. It's gross negligence, if you ask me. But give it time, then you can do all the activities you want. All right, Rosalina? Uh... Oh, wow. Uh, how's Reese? He's fine. Had a rough night, but he'll recover. He's used to this sort of thing. He just needs a couple of days to get back on his feet. That means no more excitement, not even a movie. I'm sorry to hear that, Dr. Kelly. Oh my God. Okay, I am not going to flirt with Dr. Kelly. That's terrible. You talk about him like he's a child. When you're a parent, it doesn't matter how old your kid is. They're always a child to you, especially when they need to be taken care of. Should we warn Dr. Kelly about the stone carvings? Probably. We found something in Oscar's house last night. A stone carving that gave me and Tabitha a vision about what had happened there. There was one in the mines the other night, too. Both of them had a sort of pull on me. Whatever they are, there's something like them in your clinic. I felt it last night. Those things are cursed. It's only a matter of time before something terrible happens at the clinic. You and Reese have to leave immediately. No, I don't think we will. Just because you've decided to try and involve yourself in everyone's problems doesn't mean I want you to invade my space and try to deconstruct the life I've built. All of it based on what? A feeling? Leave us alone. My son and I are fine without your help. But if something does happen at the clinic, aren't you worried about Reese? If it's anything like what happened to us last night, he'll be fine. If something happens, I can take care of him, so none of you need to come snooping around. Okay. Let's just remain silent there, because I cannot imagine saying any of those things. So, you've got your meds, you've got your nest of pillows, a helpful friend by your side, and a cat to keep you company. Seems like you're all set. Make sure you'll do a whole lot of nothing today. I will. Bye, Dr. Kelly. Yes, thanks again for coming down to see us, Joan. Not a problem. I'd much rather she stay put than have to get in and out of cars. I'll call later today to see how things are going. Hope the rest of the week is less eventful for the both of you. Goodbye, Rosalina. Make sure you stay put and keep Pixel company, okay? Dr. Kelly's features harden once again as she steps towards the door. And then she pushes past you to leave Oscar's house. We'll let you kids have some space. Alexis, why don't you figure out a restful activity for you and Rosalina? Will do, Mr. Gutierrez. I brought some video games and puzzles from my house and some movies, too. Whatever you want to do, Rosalina. Oscar ushers you back to the library. What's up? Is everything okay? Yeah, everything is fine, or at least much better than yesterday. I can't thank you all enough. I'd like to be as helpful as I can from here on out. Now that our little situation is dealt with, I'll hope finally have time to dig into the town archives. Our house was haunted because someone was murdered there. The mine collapse the other night was the site of a mass grave. With enough research, maybe I'll be able to get a step ahead of the next crisis. Maybe we can actually preempt it. That is, assuming there's going to be a next crisis. But something tells me we aren't in the clear yet. We should compare notes. Not that I have any to start with, but if you know anything that might narrow down my research, it could save me a lot of time. I don't think we actually know that much more than you do, but I've got some hunches. Can't help but feel like there must have been some inciting event since everything started getting weird seemingly overnight. What kind of inciting event was it? Was or where to start looking for it, I have no idea, but it's something to keep in mind. Avery stares at you. I mean, it's obvious, right? Things only started happening once Anna got here. Kanika shoots Avery a glare. No, we are not throwing Anna under the bus. What? There's nothing wrong with being a magical catalyst. Sure, there's probably nothing wrong with someone being a magical catalyst, but there's definitely something wrong with saying someone's a magical catalyst. If people get the wrong idea, we're only a couple of steps away from the whole town deciding to shaw her. Nobody's going to drag Anna into a witch hunt on my watch. I like to think we've outgrown the days of running people out of town on rails. I'd rather play it safe. Don't worry, it's not like I'm going to run around town telling anybody that Anna magicked a bunch of terrible disasters into existence. But if there's a catalyst for all of this, why wouldn't it be a lost Scarlet finally coming home to Scarlet Hollow? If I may, Anna getting into town isn't the only major event that's happened lately. Pearl Ann died over a week ago, and those creatures in the woods were already reproducing by the time she got to town. Not to mention I started seeing things in our house before Pearl Ann passed, I think. I never thought to make a note of exactly when the spirit made itself known. If there's a root cause for all of this, hopefully there's a way to put the genie back into its bottle. I'm going to do my best to find out if there have been any similar events and whether there's anything special about Scarlet Hollow that might explain what's going on. Those carvings I warned Dr. Kelly about are important. To think there was something like that under my house all this time, and to think someone must have put it there, but who? And there was one in the mines, and if you're right, there's one in the clinic. Maybe that's what I should be focusing on right now. How many of those things are there? If we're lucky, maybe just those 3, but I'd rather not count on it. Why don't we go down to the basement and take a closer look at the seal that's here. The ghost isn't around anymore, so there's no harm in it, right? I personally would rather not go back into that creepy basement, but that thing has to be the most solid lead we have at this point, right? Not a chance. I know the ghost is probably gone for good, but that thing is evil, and if there's even the slightest chance that going back down there triggers something, it's not worth disturbing. At least not until we know more. But what if this is our only chance to... My daughter's safety comes first right now. We finally have our house back, and I'm not taking any risks until we know what we're dealing with. Okay. There's that thing in the clinic I mentioned, that pull. I wish Dr. Kelly were taking this as seriously as she should. Oscar, what did you tell her about last night? She didn't bat an eye at anything Anna said and about the supernatural. She mostly just got defensive. Does she know how bad it was? I told her everything. She seemed to believe me. But who knows, maybe she was just being polite in front of Rosalina. Maybe the whole time I was ranting, she was actually just nodding along, thinking I've had a psychotic break. I don't know. She didn't seem to care about putting on a show for Rosalina once we showed up. I'll make sure to shoot Reese a warning text. He at least deserves to know something might happen. One way or another, I'm going to find myself back there soon enough. It's faint, but I can still feel the pull of that clinic door, and it's only getting stronger. You're not planning on breaking in, are you? Because if so, nope, you're not going to do that. Let's not have a repeat of last night. We should be more cautious about what we do next. We don't want anyone to get attacked or possessed by any more ghosts, even if it is to help a friend. I don't know if we have time to play it safe. Just give me a day or two to do some research before you do anything rash, okay? Yeah, right. Cult, Pixel, Stella. Okay, well, let's make sure Pixel stays inside, or he might get grabbed by ditchlings. Ditchlings are those things from the woods, right? With those faces? Yeah, the anguished doughboys. I kind of like them. It's like a hidden object game out there today with all the weird little faces peering out of the bushes. Like them? Are we talking about the same creatures that have been laying eggs in the local wildlife? I don't want to get friendly with them or anything. I just think they're kind of interesting. To each their own. Will do. I can't imagine how devastated Rosalina would be if something were to happen to him, especially after everything she's been through. Whatever we're doing next, I feel like we're missing a vital team member. We need to find Stella, and fast. I agree. We need her brazen energy if we're going to do any serious sleuthing. See you around, Oscar. Let us know what you find. I will. So that's Oscar. Any other ideas? Saving. Okay, so that's the third. So we've now gone to Stella's and the church and Oscar's. Cops, diner, mines. Let's go check out the diner. I feel like the cops are pointless. Good idea. Folks tend to congregate there. Maybe you'll run into someone who's seen Stella. Here's hoping Winnie doesn't try to rope me into clocking in early. Feels like you've walked into a private meeting. The back booth is full of miners, and they are having what seems to be an intense discussion, their expressions gravely serious. What's going on? There's a strike up at the mines. They've made the diner their base of operations. When you asked for the morning off, I didn't think you'd be showing up with friends. Sorry, Aunt Winnie. Stella's gone missing, and I've been helping these two track her down. You haven't seen her, have you? Don't you apologize now, and I can't say I have. Should I be worried about her? I hope not. We're not interrupting anything here, are we? Of course not. Any paying customer is welcome, long as you aren't about to step on anybody's toes or cause a fuss. The miners in back were too engaged in conversation to notice you enter, and instead of speaking in hushed voices, argue with each other loudly enough for you to easily overhear. Sure, the shift schedules are tough, and sure, we don't get enough time off for me to see my family as often as I'd like, but this is the best job I can get right now. Listen, kid, you're only a year or so into this gig. Trust me, the longer it goes on, the more it sucks the life out of you. At first, you're just unhappy, but you think you can weather it till you find something better. A paycheck's a paycheck, I get it. But the next thing you know, you've lost years of your life to a company that doesn't give a solitary shit about you, that uses up every free second it can suck out of its workers, and pays us just enough to survive, but not so much that we can ever save enough to get the hell out. Zax, we could get fired for this. I really need the paycheck. My sister needs the paycheck. I'm the only reason she can afford her tuition right now. I can't get fired. And this job still has its perks, like the company housing. I can't afford my own place and send money back home. I don't know where I would live if I didn't have this job. Right, the company housing. How generous of the big boss to put you up in a company-owned shack that ain't had proper maintenance done in decades. You know she uses that housing as an excuse to pay us less. And the company housing, that means almost nobody in this whole damn town owns the place they live. That's why the Scarlets can keep getting away with whatever they want. Zax, we don't have the numbers, man. You know this is risky. Riskier than most of us can afford. We would have the numbers if you all would stand with me and not let management's scare tactics get to you. It's not scare tactics. People like her now. That woman ran into a collapsing coal mine and saved 3 children from being buried alive. I feel you, I really do, but how are we supposed to organize a strike against a town hero? Are you trying to tell me that a mine collapsing less than 2 days ago is why you don't want to strike? It's a bad time, Zax. It's always a bad time, Baker. It doesn't matter whose name is on the deed for the place. Without us, there's no mine. We've got him against the ropes. We can't back down, or they'll come out swinging. Hmm. Hey, have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. Miners turned towards the doorway, all eyes glaring at you in unison. The YouTuber? We ain't seen her. Harrison's voice drops to a barely audible mumble. I hope she's okay. Should I weigh in on Baker and Harrison's situation? Maybe. Uh, yeah, no, let's not weigh in. So about the strike, we all know who you're related to, kid. Word travels fast, and I'll be damned if we talk business in front of you. Hmm. Uh, Look, I support you guys, but maybe you can save this until next week? Tabitha's mom just died. This whole strike thing is hardly fair. She's having a hard time. Oh, she's having a difficult week. Is that why she's forcing her workers to go back into the mines not 2 days after a collapse? Look, I'm iffy on the timing myself, but the Scarlets have taken advantage of folks for a long time. You can't blame people for wanting to do something about it. I guess we should get going. Okay, achievement unlocked. What's the buzz? You turn and leave the diner, Avery Kanika trailing close behind you. Still no sign of Stella. Okay, so let's... Okay, so... Save again. Okay, cops or mines? Cops or mines? I feel like the cops are pointless, so we should go to the mines. I guess there's a decent chance Stella went to find your cousin. I can't say I get it, but it's definitely something she would do. You don't see it? Oh, come on. The two of them have such a dynamic, you know? Classic dog and cat situation. Come on, I'll drive us. You follow Kanika to her van. It isn't long before you find yourselves outside the Scarlet Mines. Well, let's see. I am unhappy with the treatment I am receiving as a worker in the Scarlet Mines. Better hours now, or no me at all. Okay. There's a small gathering of workers outside the entrance to the mines, picket signs in hand. I hope it's not weird to talk to them while we're in the middle of all of this. Don't worry, I know these guys. Most of them are in the diner at least a couple days a week. They'll be chill. Will they be chill talking to Tabitha's cousin, though? Look out, fellas. That's the boss's cousin, and Zach said these kids were just down at the diner acting suspicious. Don't engage. That's not what I wanted to say. Crap. I'm gonna go... crap. We need to load from the save, because I did not mean to click on that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go to the mines. Let's click through to over here. We get to the mines. Okay. Okay, there we go. Have any of you seen Stella? She's missing. The miners collectively ignore you. Damn it. Look, I know you have a well-deserved bone to pick with the Scarlets, but Stella doesn't have anything to do with the strike. Have you seen her or not? The YouTuber? She's the one on all the banned from property posters, right? We haven't seen her, and we've been out here all day, so we'd know if she'd come by. Oh no, this isn't looking good. It's okay, just because he hasn't been seen today doesn't mean something bad happened to her. We'll make sure to keep an eye out. Okay, they haven't seen Stella. Let's just go. If that means we don't have to talk to Tabitha, that's fine by me. Achievement unlocked. Picket line. We've done our due diligence here. Come on. I'll drive us back to town and we can figure out our next move from there. Where to next? I guess we can go talk to the cops? Let's save. Are you sure? Nothing against the officers of Scarlet Hollow, but you've met them, right? Do you think it's worth the trouble? As unhelpful as they are, we are dealing with a missing person. That's cop stuff. It's probably going to be more of a formality than anything, but there's no point in not covering all our bases. The police station is exactly what you would expect from a town the size of Scarlet Hollow. It smells strongly of coffee and faintly of aged furniture and paper, and the general tidiness speaks of a department that doesn't get much of anything done. But you're also not alone here. You enter to find a worried Beau standing between you and the officers behind the desk. Sheriff, let me get this right. You're trying to report a missing pumpkin? Big Betty wasn't just a pumpkin, Sheriff Hugby, sir. She was going to be a prize winner. Raising her was the last thing me and my daddy did together. She's important to me. Are you sure it was Julius and not some enterprising bear that got a hold of it? You all know Julius thinks that land belongs to him. He probably thought Big Betty was his to take. He ain't coming to his door, so for all I know, he might be all the way to the state fair by now with our pumpkin. Ain't there something y'all can do about it? I'm afraid we'll need at least some kind of evidence to go on before we can go barging into a man's home, son. Why don't you see if you can find something a little more solid for us to go on? Then we can see about helping you out. Okay. Bo, did you manage to find your dad? Bo's stoic expression breaks, and for a moment you can almost see tears forming in his eyes, but he blinks them away. No, I ain't found him. Had to stop looking so I could stay home and guard the farm. There are more of those things every minute, seems like. Do you think they'll go back where they came from soon? They will, once they've had their fill of suffering. I don't much like the sound of that. It's okay, Bo. I'm sure things will go back to normal soon. I'm so sorry for everything you've had to go through. Stella ran off last night, and she's still missing. She isn't at home, and none of us have heard from her. She what now? Oh, that's just our Stella, always running off. I wouldn't worry too much about it. She'll turn up. This is different, Earl. You know I wouldn't be up here bothering you if it wasn't important. Yeah, for one thing, someone threatened her last night. He's been following Anna around since she got into town, too. And there are a lot of them things out there. Too many of them. Bo's right. She shouldn't be off on her own when there's so many ditchlings creeping around in broad daylight. Ditchlings? Anna taught me about 'em yesterday. They're them creepy little things that got my daddy. Called about 'em last night, too, since they've been coming up out of the woods and into the farm. I even saw some on my way here, plain as day. Oh, we've been getting a lot of calls about those. Guess Scarlet Hollow has either been invaded by ghouls, or we're all suffering some kind of mass hallucination. I may have even seen one or two myself. All the same, I don't see what we're supposed to do about them, or about Stella. She's a grown woman. She wants to go off to the woods for a bit. We don't need to go after her like she's missed a curfew. It's a free country. If there's critters bothering folks and stealing livestock, ain't y'all supposed to take care of 'em? Now, son, that we ain't animal control. We're the police. Are you kidding me? This town doesn't even have an animal control department. Well, maybe it should get one. What's all that about a pumpkin? Seems Bo here misplaced a considerably large pumpkin. Have you all heard a word I say? I didn't misplace Big Betty. She was stolen, and I know who done it, so I'd appreciate it if you all give Mr. Tremaine a visit and set things straight. And I'm telling you, we can't barge into your neighbor's house just because you want us to. I remember this. The Tremaines and the Callaways split some land between them after a rift in the family, right? They just couldn't get along with our side of the family. They made up a whole new property line and decided anything that grew on their side of it belonged to them, and they didn't let us Callaways touch none of it. All this happened generations ago, but they've kept it up all this time. Neither one of them wants to be the one to finally bury the hatchet. I would try if you weren't such an angry man. I can abide by living next door to somebody you ain't friendly with, but stealing just for the sake of it is low. What makes you think Mr. Tremaine stole it? You're poking a wasp's nest, Anna. There's 100 years of history here. He's been claiming Big Betty was his since day one, on account of he thinks it was planted on his side of the property. The Callaways and Tremaines have been at this a long time. They can never agree on whose land is whose. This ain't the first time we've heard something like this, and we get our fair share of calls from Julius Tremaine, too. You know, Julius is a friend of mine. He's a lot of things, and he's definitely a bit of a curmudgeon. But I've never pegged him as a thief. I didn't know Julius ever talked to anybody. Talk is a strong word, but I like to think we have some kind of understanding. don't think Bo's asking you to throw Julius in jail or anything. Why can't you look into this? Anna's right. I ain't asking for much. Bo, if I went down that road, I'm sure Julius would come down here tomorrow and have a whole list of his own complaints, and all of them would sound just as justified as yours. Sometimes it's best to just let things work themselves out. But it sounds like Bo has a real case here. It's not just two neighbors having an emotional dispute. Property's been stolen. Couldn't you get involved on his behalf just this once, after everything he's been through this week? You say that like this is the first time one of these feuding farm folk have come in about missing vegetables. We've heard it all. And what we've learned is it's best to keep our noses out of it. I'm sure Bo here will be unsatisfied with whatever the legal system feels is just punishment for stealing Big Betty. Doesn't matter what happens. If we do anything, Julius will be storming in here the next day with a complaint of his own. Heck, he'll probably come down here regardless. Yep, and it'll be about a missing butternut squash or what have you that he's sure made it into the soup on the Callaway side of the property line. You know, I haven't seen him since Tuesday. He's usually at the diner every day. Even if he didn't take Big Betty, it might be worth doing a welfare check. All right, let me speak in plainer terms. Everyone knows that Julius Tremaine's land is booby-trapped to hell. It's not worth it. That's never stopped me. Yeah? Do you have kids, Avery? Because I've got 2 teenage girls at home. Hugby's got grandkids. Franklin's got the mayor, I guess. I'm not about to risk getting my head blown off over a pumpkin. That's right. There's some sleeping dogs you learn to just let lie. I've been Scarlet Hollow's sheriff for over 20 years now. You don't hold a position like that for so long without learning a few lessons on temperance and moderation. And I guess not doing your work? If I may, sirs, ain't that a mighty bit cowardly of you? I thought police officers were supposed to be brave. Not the ones that live very long, son. Look, I've been to Julius 100 times. I can tag along and make sure nobody gets hurt. That's a mighty kind offer, but let's give it another day. There's no need to escalate things when they might just resolve themselves. Weird question, but are you folks part of a cult, and is that why you aren't doing your jobs? The police officers stare at you perplexedly. A cult? I don't think we have that sort of thing up here. We are doing our jobs. Just look at Franklin back there. He's filing all kinds of paperwork. You know, I can't say I appreciate your tone. Sounds like you're accusing us of some kind of indecency. What, do you think we go up into the hills and do seances and rituals and all that sort of thing? Get your head out of the cloud. To remain silent. Achievement unlocked. Why wouldn't they just do their jobs? Okay, let's yeah, we've got like 3 more Anna saves. Okay, so let's save that. Do you really think that Huggeby and Derrickson could be part of some cult that secretly runs Scarlet Hollow? That'd be wild. I'd never suspect them of that sort of thing. Seems like it'd be too much work. Someone who's lived in this town my entire life, there's no way. For one thing, cult activity like what you're describing just doesn't happen. I've done my fair share of reading on satanic panic and so-called occult groups, and it's almost always totally made up. People constantly freak out about Satanists without realizing they're just a bunch of debate club nerds who listen to heavy metal. So, instead of not being able to rely on the cops because they're part of a cult that secretly runs the town, we can't rely on them because they're just not that good at what they do? That's so much less exciting. But either way, I guess it's up to us to solve the mysteries of Scarlet Hollow. We'll do a much better job anyway. Where to next? As you consider your next steps, you remember your appointment with Sybil. She seemed to be confident last night that Stella would be okay. Maybe she'll be able to help you find her. She knew about ditchlings, after all. She seems to know all sorts of things. You have to see her. She's the thread tying everything together. She is what will stop the town from falling apart. That's creepy. We should talk to your mom. I'm supposed to have tea with her today. Sure, we can humor her. She's probably going to give you some rocks or bundles of herbs for protection or something, which might actually work. Who knows? Guess there's only one way to find out. Let's do it. The bells of the general store chime welcomingly as the three of you enter. Kanika, there you are. You were supposed to stay in bed today, remember? And hello, you two. Hope you're both recovered from last night's fiasco. Sorry, Mom. It's just that Stella's missing and Stella can take care of herself. Unlike you, you need bed rest and lots of fluids. You don't need to go running around town spreading that cold of yours. Go on, get up to bed. I'll be up in a minute with more tea. Thought you had some kind of important thing to talk to Anna about. I'm really feeling okay. I want to hear what you wanted to say to her. You're definitely not up for it after all the running around. And besides, I'll be doing a tea reading. Those always bore you to tears. Go on upstairs, sweetie. Okay, you're right. I'm not feeling well. I should really lie down. Bye, Anna. Kanika turns and heads towards the stairs without saying another word. Well, she gave up searching for Stella real fast. And I'm so sorry to be a bad host, Avery, but I was hoping Anna and I could do our reading in private. I'm sure Winnie needs help at the diner. Oh, you're right. I've totally left her on her own today. Fine by me. I wouldn't want to mess with your tea vibes. I'm sure those leaves are very particular. Oh, but before I go, I did want to ask. Are you a witch? As flattered as I am that you think I'm that magical, I'm just an old lady who likes tea and has a few unusual hobbies. Look, I'm just saying, doing stuff like reading tea leaves. Oh, hey, my thing is having a commercial. Oh, well. Like reading tea leaves is pretty witchy as far as I'm concerned, but I won't push it. Though, just so you know, if you are a witch, you can totally tell us. We'd be cool about it. I'll leave you all to your non-supernatural private tea leaf reading. We'll catch up tomorrow, Anna. They make their way out of the general store, disappearing down the street in the direction of the diner. Shall we? Sybil motions towards the tea room. Okay, I guess let's follow Sybil to the tea room. Nothing bad can happen. Please, have a seat. I'll bring you a fresh cup. You take a seat at the small table at the edge of the room. It's dark here, only a sliver of sunlight able to filter through the heavy curtains, supplemented by the bright grow lights over the plants in the corner. It's castor bean, an incredibly toxic plant and strange for a tea maker to keep around on her workspace. Huh. It's so pretty, though. Sybil joins you at the table and places a cup in front of you. It smells light and citrusy, with the undercurrent of decaying earth. It's the same tea you sampled with Avery at the diner on Tuesday. I'll be able to do a reading once you're done. Until then, how about we just chat? What's with all the mystery and ritual? If you have something to tell me, just come out and say it. I'll need your tea leaves first. I have pieces of the puzzle, but the tea leaves should help to give me the full picture. The other day you promised to tell me, what was it, unsavory tales of my mom's youth? I most certainly did, though I might have been exaggerating a bit for dramatic effect. I'm prone to do that. In a town this size, you get to know everybody no matter what the age difference might be. Vivian was a little younger than me, which meant I always had a certain older sister instinct about her. Her family wasn't good to her. Pearland was a lot like your great-grandmother, Edwardine, which is to say, she was not a very kind woman. Similar to Tabitha, but with more social grace and considerably more hatred for her fellow man. But your mother wasn't a shrinking violet, either. She was just as stubborn as any other Scarlet, so her family choosing her as their punching bag made her into quite the rebel. Why were Pearland and my mom raised by Edwardine? What happened to their mother? Their entry into this world was violent, I'm afraid. Their mother was young, too young to be pregnant, especially with twins. She didn't survive the labor. What do you know about my grandma? I'm afraid there isn't much I can tell you. I think there were two in that generation. The eldest died when the girls were still children. Edwardine never spoke about them, nor did your mother. I feel like I know a lot about the women in my family, but what about the men? Did they even exist? I suppose they just haven't been very noteworthy since Edwardine took over the mines. Her husband died a long time ago, and to be quite honest, I can't even recall his name. Might have been Stuart or something just as forgettable. From what Vivian said, her father was some teenage fling that ended once your grandmother found out she was pregnant. I'm fairly certain it was similar for Vivian, though she was much older, and I believe she was the one who ended it, what with skipping town and all. Oh, so she got pregnant and then skipped town. What happened when my mom found out she was pregnant? She came to me for advice. She was distraught. It was like she'd been handed a death sentence. Maybe it was fear from what had happened to her own mother. Maybe it was something else, but she seemed convinced she was in danger. Tabitha had already been born by then, of course, but she was born in wedlock, so I assumed your mother worried had something to do with religion. Though the Scarlets weren't particularly religious, as far as I knew. But the way Vivian was that night she came to me, it's stuck in my mind. It's always had me wondering what it was about your family that made her panic so much at the thought of having a baby. So how did you wind up in Scarlet Hollow? Oh, my family's been in these hills for a long time. That's how I know so much of the local flora. Everything I've learned was handed down from generations of hill folk. There hasn't always been a reliable doctor up here, especially not one most folks could afford. They have to figure out their own medicine. Sybil, why am I being forced to drink the tea? I should be able to decide not to drink it. What's wrong with me? Dear, I'm afraid I don't understand what you're trying to say right now. There's always a choice. It's quite an aromatic blend, though, isn't it? I'll take your enthusiasm for my tea as a compliment. Do I just get to repeat this? Dear, you just asked me that. You don't have to do anything. Sybil, why am I being forced to drink the tea? I should be able to decide not to drink it. What is wrong with me? Dear, are you feeling all right? I'm starting to worry about you. Too much running around this week has clearly crossed some of your wires. Okay, let's sip it. Achievement, tea reading. You take the tea, sipping it delicately. The citrus smell is fleeting, quickly replaced with the earthiness at its core, like you've taken a mouthful of dirt. But the aftertaste combines the two flavors into something soothing and medicinal, and you find yourself feeling more comfortable, your muscles relaxing for the first time in days. It's soothing beyond what you would expect out of ordinary tea. There must be something magical at work in the blend. Hey, Rano! New Chapter 4 of Scarlet Hollow is out, and things are creeping creepier. I am at a convention in Montreal, and this is what I'm doing with my evening. Oh my god. Okay, so we just drank tea that this woman gave us, and it's creepy and extra soothing. I really don't want to finish the tea. How do I not drink the tea? Am I able to not drink the tea? I'm gonna okay. I'm gonna go back and see if I had any options about the tea. Okay, so this is Thursday, town day. So we saw, yeah, you were going to be in Canada. Yeah, yeah. The game came out this afternoon, and I'm taking the time. Uh, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the cult and satanic panic again. I'm just fast forwarding a little bit. And then we're going to remember that we need to talk to Sybil. And that can't be good. All right, so trying to see if there's a way to not drink the weird drug tea. Okay, so first of all, she sends Kanika away. And Kanika agrees. And then she sends Avery away. And Avery agrees. Asks if she's a witch. Ooh, raids sound fun. Good luck, and thank you for lurking. Okay, so tea time. Okay, so we can only follow her. We find that she's growing really toxic plants. Uh, hmm. Quit yanking me around. You have something to tell me, just come out and say it. I need the tea leaves first. I have pieces of the puzzle, but the tea leaves should help to give me the full picture. How'd you end up in Scarlet Hollow? My family's been in these hills for a long time. That's how I know so much of the local flora. Okay. Oh, yes. Tell me about my mother's unsavory youth. Okay. Why were Pearlan and my mom raised by Edwardine? What happened to their mother? Their entry into the world was violent, I'm afraid. Their mother was young, too young to be pregnant, especially with twins. She didn't survive the labor. What do you know about my grandma? I'm afraid there isn't much I can tell you. I think there were two in that generation. The eldest died when the girls were still children. Edwardine never spoke about them, nor did your mother. I feel like I know a lot about the women in my family, but what about the men? Did they even exist? I suppose they just haven't been very noteworthy since Edwardine took over the mines. Her husband died a long time ago, to be quite honest. I can't even recall his name. Might have been Stuart or something just as forgettable. From what Vivian said, her father had some teenage fling that ended once your grandmother found out she was pregnant. I'm fairly certain it was similar for Vivian, though she was much older, and I believe she was the one who ended it, what with skipping town and all. Uh, what happened when my mom found out she was pregnant? She came to me for advice. She was distraught. It was like she's been handed a death sentence. Maybe it was fear from what had happened to her own mother. Maybe it was something else. But she seemed convinced she was in danger. Tabitha had already been born by then, of course, but she was born in wedlock, so I assumed your mother worried about something to do with religion. Though the Scarlets weren't particularly religious as far as I knew. But the way Vivian was that night she came to me, it stuck in my mind. It's always had me wondering what it was about your family that made her panic so much at the thought of having a baby. Okay, so maybe if I just, ask her a whole bunch of times about being forced to drink the tea. Okay. Just ask me that. Sybil, why are you being forced to drink the tea? Dear, are you feeling all right? I'm starting to worry about you. Too much running around this week clearly crossed up some of your wires. Uh, you take the tea, sipping it delicately. The citrus smell is fleeting, quickly replaced with the earthiness at its core, like you've taken a mouthful of dirt. Okay. Yep, we are drugged, and we can't not be drugged. Uh, don't like it. Now, on to business. Sybil takes the cup from you, staring thoughtfully down at the sludge. Oh dear, this doesn't bode well. You've got just about every warning that can fit at the bottom of a cup. Cross, kettle, hourglass. All of those mean death, misery, difficulty, and the hourglass ties it all together with definite urgency. It's fair to assume that this all had to do with whatever brought the ditchlings. Something is coming, and whether any of us can stop it, I'm not sure, but we may at the very least be able to figure out what that is. There's a central figure here, a cat, an enemy lurking in plain sight. Uh, I'd like to see. I'm sure it wouldn't make much sense to most people. It'll probably just look like a confusing mess of old leaves. But you're free to take a look. You take the cup, staring down into it. It's just leaves. There's no pattern, nothing swimming together in the dregs of your tea to give you any warning or premonitions. After a long moment, Sybil takes the cup back from you. I hope that settled your curiosity. Don't worry if you couldn't make sense of it. It takes years to learn this sort of thing, even for someone with your propensities. She winks conspiratorially. Uh, that's ridiculous. Sybil is helping you, and if she was the cat, why would she warn you about herself? Pick someone else. But I don't want to pick someone else. Okay, I guess I can't. The cat could be Dr. Kelly. She's been nothing but hostile since I've met her. Joan Kelly is just a very blunt woman, bless her soul. Reese's condition puts a great strain on them both, and I'm sure she doesn't mean to come across the way she does. That kind of stress would do the same to anyone. But she's not a friend of yours, and she's not family, so she lacks the closeness required to be the cat. You don't have to figure out an answer right away. It often takes time for the mind to connect the dots. Just be on guard and keep vigilant that someone close to you isn't to be trusted. We know from the ditchlings that something terrible is coming your way, and it's likely that it's connected to some hidden enemy. Perhaps we could try to counteract whatever might be planned for you. Judging by what you've told me last night, those stones, carvings, seals, whatever you want to call them, I think it's likely they have something to do with this. Until the cat reveals itself, it seems like your best course of action is to seek these carvings out. Piece together what you can from your visions, and arm yourself with information. Have you sensed any others around town? Do you think you might be able to find another? Your thoughts drift to the door yesterday, the one that seemed to draw you in, urging you deeper into the clinic. Even just remembering it is enough to tug at you, compelling you to return and open it to see what's on the other side. You can find Stella later. Maybe you can even find her there. What's important now is finally seeing what's hidden in the clinic. I think I felt another in the clinic. That's good. If you can find your way inside and uncover another stone, that could give you a leg up on your adversary. You'll just have to be careful to avoid the doctor. Something tells me she won't take too kindly to your sniffing around her clinic. If I recall correctly, there's a hill that'll take you nearly all the way to the second story, and she never locks any of the doors up there. Just in case that's helpful information. I think that's all the help I can offer. I hope this conversation has been illuminating, even if it's just brought up more questions than giving any clear answers. Okay, she's helping, but she drugged me and I don't understand. You helped last night. Why don't you come with me? I may have been able to see through the spirit's illusions, but I'm not some kind of all-powerful entity. I'm an old woman. I have trouble with my knees, and my eyesight isn't what it used to be. In most situations, I'd be more of a liability than a helpful companion. Imagine if I'd been in those mines with you. Some use I'd be struggling to climb over rocks and ladders, throwing my back out from all the crouching. All you did was look at some leaves and tell me to go put myself in danger. I suppose you could see it that way, but I hope I've done more than that, even if you don't realize it yet. Thank you again for humoring an old lady and stopping by for a chat. With a small grunt of effort, Sybil gets up from the table, and you're escorted back to the door. And remember, be careful who you put your trust in. According to your tea, the cat is getting ready to pounce, and merely being ready for it might not be enough. Sybil closes the door to the tea room, the bells of its door strangely flat in the stale air of the nearly empty general store. Let's check in on Kanika. You're not going anywhere before checking in on Kanika. You make your way upstairs. Mom, I really don't need any more tea. I think I'm just going to lie down for a while. I'm going to the clinic. I was hoping you would join me. Oh, hey. Sorry, Anna, my mom was right. I'm exhausted. I probably shouldn't push it, or I'll wind up worse off tomorrow. Looks like you're on your own. So Kanika just like forgot about looking for Stella. Okay. You make your way out of the general store and down the road to the clinic. Make your way up the familiar hill past the row of ragged houses that make up Scarlet Hollow's residential area. It isn't long before you find yourself outside of Dr. Kelly's clinic, its secrets enticing you to find a way in. Even at the bottom of the hill, you can already feel the presence. It's like a magnet has both fixed it to your ribcage, gently tugging you forward, guiding you towards whatever emits this compulsive frequency. You can see the hill Sybil was talking about, wrapped around the back of the old hospital like a stone blanket. It should take you directly up to the second floor and the unlocked doors of the terrace. Oh. Hmm. Oh my God, and there's Wayne. Wayne is right there. So there's... Okay, hang on. So there's raccoons here, and a ditchling, and another ditchling, and another ditchling, and more ditchlings all over the place, and Wayne next door. Yikes. Okay. We are going to go back to saving things, just in case. Okay, so far I've been picking the trait answers, right? So I'm mystical, so I should do what the mystical thing says. So let's try it, because my other, like, before I do any of those things. You've found at times that if you haven't wished to be seen, there's nothing stopping you from remaining hidden. Graveyards, abandoned buildings, old tunnels. You've been in all sorts of strange and unusual places without incident. And for some reason, tonight, Dr. Kelly's clinic feels no different. You haphazardly make your way up the old wooden stairs of the clinic's wrapped porch, taking steps in strange patterns. To an outside observer, you might appear to be drunk, but there's an unconscious method to your conscious madness, though even if you would be hard-pressed to describe it. But there's no creak or moan of the ancient wood as you make your way to the door. Silence. You push the door open slowly and slip in. You can see the doc at a desk in some room down the hall. She hasn't noticed you. You shut the door silently, watching her closely. You're in the clinic, free to explore as you please. Or rather, you're free to explore as you please. You can feel that odd sensation again, the nagging pull of whatever it was that wanted you to find it. You're here now, and it knows you're here. And you know exactly what it is, another stone carving, eager to show you its secrets. You've been caught by its gravity, an overwhelming curiosity guiding you around a corner and towards a dark doorway under the stairs. It's been left ajar, as if inviting you to enter. I am terrified of what I'm going to see. Wait, what? The lights click on. You're in the morgue. Why was Reese in the morgue? At least there's like no ditchlings here. Anna, what are you doing in the morgue? Oh, okay. What are you doing sleeping in the morgue? I'm sure it looks weird. It's not like I expected anyone to come down here. I was just, practicing. A rehearsal, if you will. Not gonna lie, this is kind of weird, dude. You're the one who just wandered into a morgue. His words seem distant to you. The tugging is strong down here. You can almost feel yourself slipping into a trance, and your eyes wander to the back wall of the morgue. You need to see what's back there. You touch the wall. It feels disappointingly solid under your palm. Hey, are you okay? You feel Reese's hand gently shake your shoulder, and for a moment, the thing on the other side of the blank white wall loosens its pull on you. You kind of looked possessed for a second there. You good? Apparently, I'm supposed to make him understand. Use your words. Don't let this fervor consume you. Be present in the moment. You inhale deeply and take in your surroundings. You can't help but notice that one of the body storage doors is labeled Pearl and Scarlet. Let's go look at our aunt's body. Oh my God, are we going to see it now? You step forward and pull out the drawer. Oh God, okay. So this is your Aunt Pearl Ann, Cole Baroness of the Scarlet Mines and local she-devil that it seemed no one, not even her own daughter, was able to mourn. This is not the first corpse you've seen, but it feels the same as any other. She's an empty body now. The warmth and energy of a life now dissipated, the same as your mother was, and the same as you'll be one day. Cold air rises from the bluish skin, her vacant, filmy eyes staring up at nothing. You try to imagine what she may have looked like alive and breathing, slinging subtle insults at the townsfolk, but it's hard to picture any expression on a face so stiff and cold with death. Making sure she didn't walk off? Mm, with everything going on lately, it's good to check. I'll get the doc to make sure the drawer is locked from here on out, just to be on the safe side. Having seen what there was to see, you slide the door back in and close it. The mines had a stone carving the other night, as did Oscar's house yesterday. They've been giving me visions, and I can sense one on the other side of the wall. I need to see it. Reese glances back at the wall. You're really serious, aren't you? This is probably a bad idea, but if you really need to get in there, I'm pretty sure there's an emergency axe somewhere upstairs. I'll just need to get the dock out of our hair. Should take 2 seconds. Mm, get the dock out of our hair? Yeah, if I say I'm sick and need something, she'll drop whatever she's doing and do it for me. Surefire way to get her out of the house. And most of the time it's true anyway. Uh, doesn't that make her worry about you even more? There's nothing I can do at this point to get her to stop worrying about me. Might as well use it to my advantage when I can. Thanks for understanding. Don't mention it. If there's anything I can do to actually be useful, I'm happy to help. Be right back. He strides past you, his long legs moving swiftly. He seems excited, his usual dour demeanor replaced with an uncharacteristic pep when faced with the prospect of sneaking around and tearing down walls. You hear his soft voice filtering in through the open doorway at the top of the stairs, a hoarse and sickly edge added for effect as he speaks to his mother. Okay, we need a new content warning. Just in case stuff is about to happen. And I need a sip of my drink because I've been talking nonstop for 2 hours. Okay. Are we ready for this? Hey, Mom? He coughs gently. Reese, I didn't know you were awake. I still feel like shit, but I think I can finally try to keep some juice down. It looks like we're all out, though. Really? I thought I just picked some up. I've got an errand to run on Main Street anyway. I'll go pick up some orange juice and some ginger ale, too. That would be awesome. Sorry to ask. I know you are probably busy. It's no problem. It doesn't take long. Don't do anything too strenuous while I'm gone. Just lie in bed until I get back. Thanks, Mom. I'll take it easy. You hear her footsteps move down the hall, then the front door opening and closing. It worked. The theatric raspiness left his voice, excitement rising in its place. Come on up. We don't have long until she's back. As you step out of the morgue, you relax. The extra space between you and the carving has weakened its hold on you, and with it, your desperation to claw your way through the wall to unveil it. It's one of those emergency fire axes, so it should be pretty obvious wherever it is, though I'm not sure where she would be keeping it. I'll show you around. Let's try the doc's office first. You make your way to the doorway of her now vacant office. I don't see an axe in here. He's right, a cursory glance reveals nothing but stacks of paper and cabinets of medical supplies. But something on a desk catches your eye. Some sort of records with your family's name on them. Reese stops in the doorway, turning to watch you leaf through the documents. Find something interesting? They're your family's death certificates. Cause of death, sleep apnea. Discovered by her daughter Tabitha. Chrysanthemum Scarlet. No autopsy performed. Oh my God, Tabitha's middle name is Chrysanthemum? Okay. Tabitha's middle name is Chrysanthemum? Wonder who cursed her with that mouthful. I feel like that was forbidden knowledge. Okay, Edwardine. Edwardine Scarlet, born April 9th, 1913, died February 12th, 2003, age 89. Cause of death, heart failure, signed by her daughter, Pearl Ann Scarlet. Pretty normal. Almost made it to 90, died of normal old person illness. Oh, signed by her daughter, Pearl Ann. Enoch Scarlet, born September 9th, 1887, died August 20th, 1957, aged 68. Cause of death, fall from cliff. This one had a coroner's report attached. Organs sustained impact injuries, lacerations to the neck and body consistent with fall from great height. Whoa, an actual autopsy report. Looks ancient. You quickly flip through the few of the other Scarlets whose names aren't quite as familiar. Theodore Scarlet, born May 24th, 1890, died 1918, age 28. Cause of death, crushed in mine collapse. Body not recovered, signed by his brother, Enoch Scarlet. That's right, you had a great-uncle who died in the collapse. Joseph Scarlet, born April 14, 1914, died June 1944. Louis Scarlet, born August 1920, died June 1944. Okay. Why did they die 2 days apart? Oh, 1944. They went off to war. That's right. Louis and Joseph. Both killed at Normandy in the line of duty. They must have been Edwardine's brothers. Certificate of fetal death, infant boy. Andrew Charles Scarlet, delivered April 3rd, 1945. Stillbirth, mother Edwardine Scarlet. Oh, Charles. Interesting. So we are not Shaws then. Cause of death, complications during birth. No doctor present. Home burial. She probably killed the baby. That settles the question of whether you're related to Charlie. Alexandra Scarlet, born July 1946. Died August 20th, 1957, aged 9. Missing, presumed dead. Signed by mother, Edwardine Scarlet. Isn't that when Enoch died? Alexandra, the honor of the doll. So she went missing. And it was the same day Enoch died in a hiking accident. Mary Bell Scarlet. That's the one in the painting. Born in 1947, died October 1963, age 16. Cause of death, complications during childbirth. Oh, that is... So Mary Bell is our grandma. Signed by her mother, Edwardine Scarlet. Wow, that's a lot of kids to outlive. Achievement unlocked. Time to whip out the old string and corkboard. You turn around and leave the office. It's time to move on. The medical supply room is probably a good bet. A fire X seems like something that might be useful in a room full of chemicals. It's just down the hall. There it is. Looks like it needs a key, though. We'd better not break the glass. I'd rather explain why I had to steal the axe after we've had a chance to use it. Must be a key in here somewhere. He stops, as if listening to something you can't hear. Shit, she's back already. As if on cue, you hear the front door to the clinic open and close, the creak of its antique hinges echoing down the hallway. Footsteps start down the hall. She's headed this way. Quick, we gotta hide. I'm not supposed to be in here. He opens the closet door and hurriedly motions you inside. You slip past him, scrunched into the small space as best as you can. He attempts to slide in after you. You make space and he slips in next to you, closing the door just enough that you can both still monitor the entrance to the supply room. Dr. Kelly storms in, plastic bag in tow. She takes something out of the bag and places it on the counter. And then she hurries back out, bag rustling, as she makes her way back down the hallway. We'd better wait a second, just in case. Press yourself against the boxes in the back of the closet, trying to avoid being seen through the small slit in the door. The two of you stand in tense silence, both crammed into the suffocating closet, taking shallow breaths as if she could hear you breathing from the other side of the building. But the footsteps soon return. Dr. Kelly makes her way back towards your hiding place, creaking floorboards broadcasting her location all the way to the hallway just outside your hiding spot. His head swivels suddenly. That was the door to the house. We're in the clear. Let's go. The two of you spill out of the closet. Reese, quickly and quietly, starts pulling out drawers, scanning them for keys. You can't help but notice what Dr. Kelly left on the long steel table in the middle of the room. A sprig of small, furry fruits. Castor beans. You've seen them elsewhere in town, but for the life of you, you can't remember where. Okay, why? Okay, because you drank Sybil's stupid tea. Okay. Why did your mom get castor beans? Yes, found the keys. He holds up a small ring of keys, each with a strip of colored tape on the head. What's this about beans? Oh, those weird little red fruit things. Risa unlocks the cabinet and offers you the fire axe. Here's your axe. And I don't know, I've never seen them before. I'm not allowed in the supply room. It's probably some kind of medicinal plant, right? She took out a chemistry set, too. Though, come to think of it, she's not supposed to make medicine. She's not a pharmacist. This room is just storage for orders she gets from a pharmacist over in Brevard. Why would she bring something like that in here? Oh, it's ricin? Jesus fucking Christ. Ricin is like, holy shit. This plant is not medicinal. It makes one of the deadliest poisons known to man. But she's not using it for that, right? Why would she give people poison? You decide it's best to let Reese draw his own conclusions. Maybe she has some kind of information on it lying around here somewhere. That drawer over there is locked. If I were information on some mysterious alien-looking fruit, I'd probably be in a locked drawer, right? Good thing I already have the keys. He unlocks the drawer, pulling out a notebook. This is about me. There's stuff in here from when I was like 12. Some kind of diary or medical history or both, I guess. What the hell is this? Something about another episode? Guessing she's referring to one of my rough nights. Oh, here we go. There's some illustrations. He glances at the strange plant on the countertop. It's those beans you mentioned. She uses them to make my medicine. That's poison, right? He jerks his head towards the door. Shit. That was the door from the house. We've got to run. You follow Reese's instructions once again, starting down the basement stairs, letting the pull of the stone carving guide you back to the morgue. Okay, so she is poisoning him with ricin that she gets from Sybil. Okay, maybe he is a vampire. You know what? I don't know. Dr. Kelly's voice filters down from above. I was right. We did already have juice. It was just in the back of the fridge, but there's no harm in having extra. What are you doing in the clinic? I thought I told you to go rest. Oh, I'm just going to chill in the morgue. I got my speakers, so if you hear some weird sounds, that's just my music. I'll be sure to put in earplugs to drown out all that industrial clanging you listen to. You know I'm not the biggest fan of you spending time down there. It can't be good for your mental health to hang out in a refrigerator for corpses. Do you at least have a blanket this time? Yeah, I'll be fine. It's just a change of scenery. My room feels too claustrophobic right now. Okay, I'll let you know when it's time for dinner. You don't have to do that. I'll grab something from my room later. Sure, whatever you're able to do. You hear the door at the top of the stairs close, and the sound of Reese descending the stairs to join you in the fluorescent-lit room below. Hey. Well, now, yes? Okay. You listen to music that sounds like a wall being broken down? Of course I do. I'm sad all the time. Glad my taste in music is finally coming in handy. It's exactly the cover we need. Stop asking questions. It's time to see what's on the other side of that wall. Let's do this. I'd like to do the honors if you don't mind. I've got some confused and angry feelings I'd like to express. Reese manages to cut through the wall with very little effort, unexpected from someone with his frame and condition. But you know his stringy muscles are backed by a mountain fury at what's been done to him. That goes a long way. He staggers back from the massive hole in the wall and admires his work. Holy shit! The splintered edges frame a dark passage, seemingly cut deep into the side of the cliff, cold seeping from the forgotten passageway into the already frigid morgue. Reese coughs as he takes a better look at what lies beyond the wound in the wall. There's a whole hallway back there. Thick, stale air leaks from the hole, filling the morgue with an earthy mildew smell, like the room is slowly filling with dirt. And with the stink of the grave-like room beyond comes an even stronger compulsion. You step forward, and you climb into the hole. Oh wow, there's like an ancient wheelchair there. This is wild. I had no idea any of this was here. An entire hospital wing rotting away for decades behind some flimsy drywall. Okay. Why is this place hidden away? A lot of awful stuff happened at this hospital. Maybe people just felt the need to bury those memories. Or maybe a pipe burst or something. I don't know. You step forward into the unknown. You don't bother to retrieve the axe. The final wall concealing the carving is rotten, water damage having eaten away at the wood over the course of an unknowable years, the planks nearly reduced to sawdust. You tear into it. Okay, so snakes. Oh, ooh! Injured man. Enoch, I thought you weren't going to come. I was worried you'd leave me here forever. They said there's nothing they can do. I'll never use my legs again. Enoch, what am I going to do? Nonsense, Teddy. Oh, wait a minute. I thought his body was never recovered. These doctors don't know what they're talking about. I've been doing my own research. Oh, he Googled. Great. And I found us an alternative. We don't have to worry about anything from here on out, I promise. I went to talk to the witch. A witch? But that's nonsense. It's all right. It's all sorted. We're taking you home today, and everything will be resolved by this time next week. That's right, Doctor. At this point, I think it's safe to say his body was never recovered. Whoever it was who claimed to be Theodore, it wasn't him. Wasn't even paralyzed, as it turns out. Just some grifter trying to take advantage of the tragedy. Everything goes black. Your vision swims back into focus, and it takes a solid second or two to reorient yourself. You're in an unfamiliar bed. Reese leans against the far wall, eyeing you with concern and curiosity. Okay, this is weird. Hey, I was worried you'd slipped into a coma or something. You tore down a wall like a wild animal, found some weird carving, and collapsed. I think you might have had some kind of seizure. Are you okay? I had a vision, like a hallucination. I have those sometimes too. Used to have them a lot as a teen. Always just weird little things, like my hands would look wrong, or my neck would seem too long, or the room would feel smaller. At least one of those death records is murky. I don't think Teddy died in the mine collapse. My family has secrets. That's a weird thing to cover up, but that's not too surprising. An old family like that usually has at least a few secrets, but hopefully that's all ancient history. It's not like it's easy to cover up death these days, right? Wait, nothing spooky happened? The mountain didn't collapse on us? No ghosts? No, nothing. You just fell down, twitched a little, and when you seemed stable, I carried you back here. That was a few hours ago. You don't have the kind of muscle mass required for that. Huh? Why would I lie about that? I just picked you up and carried you back. It's not like I had to go very far. Does Dr. Kelly know I'm here? No, I snuck you back into the house while she was busy in the medical storage room. Figure you wouldn't want to come too in the morgue. Mm, I should probably get going. Stella's still missing, and the stone here finally stopped yelling at me. That might be a little tricky. The doc is on the warpath up there. I refuse to take my medicine, and she's not happy about it. I'm sure you can understand why. There was no way I was going to take anything she gave me. She's been poisoning me for years. I've been thinking about what you said at dinner last night, and I don't see any other possibility. It's only been a day since I've stopped taking my pills, and I feel great. I went ahead and blocked my door so she can't get down here. Now we just have to wait her out. I don't get why your mom would poison you, though. I don't know. But it's all in here. She never outright says that's what she's doing. And the recipe she came up with to deal with my flare-ups, or whatever she thinks those are, involves this weird plant that was on the counter. Those castor beans, you were right, and ricin poisoning matches up with quite a few of my symptoms. The thing I can't figure out is whether she's been trying to kill me slowly, or if she just likes keeping me sick enough to depend on her. Either way, I don't think I've ever had an illness. I think the illness was me growing up and becoming less easy to control. She sure found a cure for that. Ricin is really bad. How are you not dead? I don't know. Maybe it's low enough doses? Or maybe I developed a tolerance? But I think the fact that I feel more and more alive by the minute is enough proof that she was keeping me sick. I don't even need solid evidence. With your evidence, you should be able to go to the cops. Maybe not the local cops, but a cops. You're right. I have her journal. That's pretty incriminating, even if she left out any descriptive words for what she was up to. Ideally, I'd never have to see or think about her ever again. But if it comes to it, this could be my guarantee that she would never be able to have power over me again. We need to get you out of here. Who knows what she'll do when she finds out what you know? Where would we go? The only person I know who has a car is Kanika, and she's not answering her phone. I don't know anyone else. I don't have any other family to go to. I never even finished high school. When I got out of this house, I don't know how I can make sure I don't wind right back down here. One step at a time. Let's just start by waiting out your mom and getting out of here. You shouldn't call her my mom. As far as I'm concerned, she's forfeited that title. I don't even think I should call her doctor. She's just some woman now. Can't wait for her to be in the rearview mirror of the rest of my life. We'll see if we can wait her out. If she doesn't fall asleep by 10, we can figure something else out. These windows are supposedly shatterproof, which she always said was for burglars. Now I assume it was yet another way to keep me boxed in. But we can try to break them anyway. A distraction seems like a good idea. As you can probably tell, I'm getting a little jittery. Maybe it's the lack of poison in my system for the first time in years, or the fact that my whole perception of reality has been turned on its head. Probably a combo. It would obviously take more than a day for ricin poisoning to be out of his system. It doesn't feel awful, to be honest. Let's just go with the flow. So if we've got some time to kill, we could always watch a movie. I'm really into horror movies, as I'm sure you could tell, and it has been so long since I had somebody over to watch one with me. And I believe I owe you a showing of Shi-no-Chi, Deathblood. Reese gets the movie set up and joins you on the bed. Let me know if it gets to be too much for you. I'm not a great judge of how other people will react to the sort of thing I watch, but I definitely don't want you to feel uncomfortable. This is a slow burn movie, but the dread it's managing to build is palpable in the room. Or maybe that's just how it feels down here all the time, what with the grisly paintings, lack of lighting, cinder block walls, and of course the fact that the woman currently lurking upstairs has been poisoning her son since his teens. I've seen a couple of this director's other films, and they're all interesting, though this is probably the best introduction to his work. The way it jump cuts to seemingly unrelated TV show recordings, then that then wind up tying back into the narrative adds a level of realism and depth to the narrative that I find really engrossing. It's found footage used to its fullest. I can't believe I'll be able to just do things from here on out, like watch movies with another person, or talk to people, ever. You can hear the difference in energy now that Reese hasn't had his daily dose of poison. He's uncharacteristically chatty, clearly not used to talking to another person, let alone when he has the energy to carry on a long conversation. Something is changing inside of him. Reese, you feel different, like your whole personality is changing. Is everything okay? Everything is more than okay. I haven't felt this good I don't think I've ever felt this good. A man on the screen yells portents of doom onto the camera, trailing off into the wordless scream. The plot is really heating up. I love that there are all these distinct sort of vignettes, little pockets of horror that affect a small number of people, and only once you start to see how they fit together can you realize some fundamental horror about the universe. I feel like this is terrible foreshadowing for this game. And then the horror sees you back. Incredible, cosmic horror in the truest sense. Reese is becoming very animated. It's probably safe to assume that he's dealing with a lot of extra adrenaline right now, what with his entire reality turning out to be a lie. But he's also talking over the movie. It's more than just something that's changing in Reese. It's everything. There's a knock on the window. What? Oh, it's Wayne. Anna, don't get any closer to that thing. It's time to go home. That voice, I know that voice. Is that who's been following you around? Without another word, Wayne starts pounding on the supposedly shatterproof window. Enemies upstairs, enemies outside. We're surrounded. Even if I get out of this house, I won't be safe. You won't be safe. What do you mean? Okay. What do you mean? Wayne isn't going to hurt you. He hasn't hurt anyone. Yes, he will. He's furious with me. Can't you hear it? But I'm not weak anymore. I can fight back. I don't have to cower in fear from the people who want to hurt me. I can protect both of us. The window shatters. What the fuck? As Reese tears at his clothes. What the fuck is going on with the walls? Holy shit. As Reese tears at his clothes, paint bubbles out from the canvases, his ghoulish figures peeling themselves out of their two-dimensional worlds, invading yours, crawling up the walls. What the fuck? Grab my hand. I'll pull you out. He grew a tail. And Reese is talking in the same font. Oh my god. Leave us alone. What the fuck? In the surge of violence, the change has been brewing inside Reese finally comes. As it manifests, the broken basement window is sealed off, and Wayne along with it. You've seen enough to know you need to leave. You run up the stairs. The door is blocked by a chair, and then it's blocked by something else, too. You toss the chair out of the way and do your best to tear through the paintings covering the door. It reforms and regenerates too quickly for you to claw your way through. Defeated, you turn back to the basement. The remainder of Reese's paintings await their artist's command. It's okay. Stay right there. I can take care of this. Then she won't be able to hurt anyone anymore. I'll be right back. Reese storms up the stairs, leaving you with his smears. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Call Tabitha. You dial your cousin's number. What mess have you gotten yourself into now? Shit. I'm at the clinic. I think Dr. Kelly's in danger. There's a monster on the loose. What? Don't move a muscle. I'm coming to get you. Your cousin hangs up the phone. You make your way to the door that beckoned to you yesterday, all intrigue now washed away. You know where it leads, and you know what secrets the stone that lurked in the forgotten basement of the clinic had to share with you. Now the clinic holds a new horror. Somewhere beyond the narrow hallway leading from the house proper into the doctor's office, there's a monster preparing to do something unthinkable. Open the door. You grasp the handle and turn. Duck! Yeah, do what she says. You do as she says, ducking out of the way. She shoots. The gun isn't very loud. There's only a pop as the projectile leaves the barrel, whizzing through the air to hit Reese. He pulls the tranquilizer dart out of his chest, heaving heavy breaths as the drug courses through his system. You're going to have to try it harder than that, you... No! How did you... As if you could hope to stop me, you pathetic waste of flesh. Before Wayne takes another step down the stairs, paint flows out between the cracks in the wood, Reese's panic pulling in a mob of furious smears to hold his enemies in place. The artist darts away, but the smears continue their work in his absence. Dr. Kelly makes her escape down the hallway, and Wayne is overcome, glued in place at the top of the stairs by stiffening globs of paint. Dr. Kelly makes her escape down the hallway, and Wayne is overcome. Okay, let's run after her. You run forward, braving the onslaught of the smears, dodging them as best you can as you try to see where Dr. Kelly went. The door in front of you is smothered in paint. Hey! Dr. Kelly's voice crackles out of some unseen speaker. You! Anna! I'm stuck in the safe room. I can't help you from here, but you can help the both of us. What the hell is your son, ma'am? I wish I knew. He was fine until he hit puberty. Everyone said raising a teen was going to be a bitch, but they don't know the half of it. I need you to get to the medical storage room. I'll give you further instructions when you're there. Let's do what she says. Because Reese is a fucking werewolf? Holy Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. You turn back around and head to the medical storage room. I'm here. Great, now listen to me. I need you to use the black taped key to get to the cabinet and bring me the elephant tranquilizers. It's a bottle labeled carfentanil. Bear tranquilizers clearly aren't going to cut it anymore. An intercom system, huh, Doc? Good, you should hear this. Anna, you don't have to do anything she says. I'm not going to hurt anybody else, just her. If I don't, you and I both know she's just going to shoot me full of elephant tranquilizers. Did I hear that right? What the fuck is he? And shove me back down in that basement, or maybe someplace even worse, and keep killing me every day for the rest of my miserable existence. I feel amazing right now, better than I've ever felt in my life. I'm not dangerous. She's just scared because she knows she has to finally pay for what she's taken from me. I'm not going to let you kill someone, Reese. Why not? She wasn't afraid I might die. Does she know those tranquilizers aren't going to kill me? Does she care? Trust me, Reese. I've always been careful with your medication. I want you to live. I love you. Tell yourself whatever lies you have to, Mom. If you wanted a good relationship, you had your chance, and you decided to convince me I was dying instead of just letting me exist. Don't try to spin it like some kind of crime of passion now that the consequences are staring you in the face. Enough. Reese cries out in pain. Ah, what the hell did you do to my shoulder? I'll handle it. Try to get somewhere safe until then. The two stagger off down the hallway. Quick, grab the tranquilizers and head to the safe room. You do as she says. The tranquilizers are easy to find, marked with a small square of black tape to match the key. She's certainly an organized woman. You make your way out of the medical storage room and back to the hallway where Dr. Kelly disappeared. As you approach, Dr. Kelly heaves open the door, slowly breaking apart the mess of paint sealing it shut. Hurry! I don't think I can keep it open for long. You slip past her into the safe room. She shuts the door quickly, though one of the little smears manages to slip past her. She stomps on it. Painted viscera splatters across the cement floor. Sounds like Reese and your friend are still fighting. We probably have a few minutes before he gets here. Let's talk, Reese. Yeah, I bet you have some questions. Go ahead, I've nothing left to hide. When did you find out? A little after he hit puberty. He had all the usual changes, then a few extra. Thickened nails, sharp teeth, elfish ears. I figured he might have some kind of genetic disorder, had him checked out a few specialists, but there was nothing obviously wrong with him. Then we had an argument, and he changed, right in front of me. It was nothing like what he is now, just a couple of inches and some facial abnormalities, enough to be noticeable. I was scared he could see that, and he stopped. I thought it was a one-off or maybe a hallucination. But the second time, it wasn't as subtle, and it didn't go away as easy. That's when I knew for sure that this was something beyond my realm of expertise. How did he not know what he was? I've been medicating him since he was 12. We've only had 3 incidents like this before, maybe 4, depending on what counts. This is the worst one by far. He doesn't seem to understand at first that he looks different, and I just make sure to stay on top of his dosages, so he rarely ever does. But I've been preparing for this inevitability. He's an adult now. There's only so much I can do to control him. Why did you start poisoning him? Dr. Kelly sighs. Can we stop calling it poison? Yes, it's poison, but the act of me giving him poison was not me poisoning him. It was medicating his illness. It started when he was around 15. I've been giving him increasingly high doses of Klonopin, but his body kept adapting and his symptoms would come back, especially if we ever fought. I couldn't keep ordering all those drugs. It was already suspicious, and I could risk losing my license, especially if anyone ever found out what I was using them for. Someone approached me with a solution. I took it, and I've been dealing with the emotional and mental consequences of that decision ever since. How did you settle on Ryson? Dr. Kelly gives you a long, hard look. I don't want to talk about that woman. But screw it, I might die tonight. Sure, I'll tell you. It was, and that's all I have to say about that. What the fuck was that? Huh. What is he? At first I thought it was some kind of werewolf, but if he is, he doesn't follow any kind of full moon rules or anything. Silver doesn't do shit to him, and you've seen what he looks like. It's just weird. I almost wish I could examine him while he's fully transformed. I'd be fascinated to know what happens to him, or how his body does it. But he seems pretty hell-bent on ripping my throat out, so I guess that'll just have to remain a mystery. Was his dad similar? A strange little smile creeps on Dr. Kelly's face. I wish I knew. Reese just kind of happened. I wasn't seeing anyone. I just woke up pregnant one day. I know how impossible that sounds. I'm a doctor, for Christ's sake. Okay, great. So he's the Antichrist? Or maybe he's supposed to be Jesus? I don't even know. I kept having these weird dreams, almost like sleep paralysis episodes. Romantic sleep paralysis episodes. They were actually kind of sweet, but they were just dreams. But then, all of a sudden, my period stopped. I got morning sickness. And roughly 9 months later, Reese. What the fuck? The relationship between you seems so difficult. Yeah, you could say that. He was such a cute kid. When I found out I was pregnant, I was terrified. Didn't know if I'd be ready, but he made me love being a mom. It's not like it was going to be sunshine and roses forever, no matter what. Kids grow up and they change. Sometimes for the worst. This is part of being a mom, too, doing what you can to make sure the child you brought into the world isn't going to go around eating people. How do you know he's dangerous? Well, he wants to murder me, so that's clue number 1. It's not like he's usually a violent kid. He's mostly just sad. But every now and then, we butt heads, and that's usually when this side of him comes out. Imagine if this happened any time he gets frustrated with anyone. Imagine he gets road rage one day and turns into a 12-foot-tall monster with a million teeth and rips somebody apart in the middle of a major metropolitan area. Yeah, he's dangerous. Why not just kill him? You think I haven't tried? At the very least, poison isn't the way to do it. I haven't resorted to any violent measures. Maybe if he was weak and they knew where to hit him, somebody could do it. But I just can't bring myself to do that kind of thing to him. I couldn't look him in the eye while I did that, and then he'd be gone. I don't want him to be gone. He's my kid. I love him so much. He has a lot to offer the world, even if he's stuck in his room for the rest of his life. What is this room? Old X-ray room. Lead walls. After I realized this whole situation was a possibility, had the door reinforced with special remote-controlled locks. Glad it could finally come in handy. What's the game plan, both short and long term? Well, pump him full of elephant tranquilizers, then I lock him in here. Then I somehow convince him to see things from my perspective. Then we all live happily ever after. Has that worked before? He's never known the exact nature of his condition before. Maybe it was a mistake to hide it from him. But I thought it meant he could feel like he had more freedom, not knowing that if he just stopped taking his pills, he could become big and pointy enough to kill me. I'm going to have to revoke some of those freedoms now. He's not going to like that. But I think he'll understand, even if it takes time. I don't think he wants to hurt people. He just can't help what he is. While we're at it, any other secrets you're keeping? You have it all. You have no idea how relieved I am to finally say all that shit out loud. You and Dr. Kelly sit in silence and wait for her son to make his way to the safe room. The sound of distant breaking glass cuts through the silence of the clinic outside the safe room. Shit, this might be game time. Dr. Kelly opens the door. The two of you stare out into the hallway. Yep. Yikes on bikes. Oh, this is a nice animation. Is this what you were so afraid of? Hand over the tranquilizers. This is our shot. Yeah, I think we give her the tranquilizer darts. Tabitha! Before Dr. Kelly can fire, a different shot rings out. Reese's body is thrown to the wall. Shotgun in hand, your cousin rounds the corner and trained her weapon on his writhing body. Tabitha, what are you doing here? Stop it. Let me sedate him. We can deal with this non-lethally. Are you insane? That thing was trying to kill you. Finish him off, Tabitha. End this. Your cousin fires off another round. She pauses to reload. And then she fires again. And then again. Yeah, no, Tabitha will blow his head off. I'm really, really hoping it works. You two, help me drag this thing outside. We're burning it. The three of you stand around Reese's mangled, still twitching body. Your cousin pours gasoline over his body, then she lights a match. You can't, bodies don't burn with just normal fire. You need like a crematorium. He screams as he erupts into flames. It's inhuman, the ruin of his face incapable of making any recognizable sounds beyond a guttural wail. Achievement unlocked! Cousin bonding time! Oh God. It seems to last forever, and then it stops. In its absence, there's only the roaring of flames and the sobbing of his mother, staring down at the writhing, burning body of what was once her son. I always knew there was something off about that kid. He had a weird smell. Okay. Let's hug Tabitha. Before she can push you away, you wrap your cousin in your arms and squeeze. You release her, and she steps back, putting her usual distance between the two of you. Boy, am I ever glad you showed up. Yeah, that was about to end very badly. Seems like I saved both your skins, so you're welcome. I knew what I was doing. It would have been fine. Yet you let it happen. Come on, Joan. You didn't stop me when I lit the match. Deep down, you knew this was for the best. Did you know what he was? No, but the door was sealed shut, and I got a bad vibe from your call, so I took the gun from my office. I was already armed when I rounded the corner and saw him. Just did what had to be done. Thanks for calling instead of trying to handle this on your own. Tears start to stream down your cheeks as the finality of it all hits you. You all did what you had to do, but that doesn't make this hurt any less. Uh, his suffering is over now, Dr. Kelly. This is a good thing. Don't you dare say that to me while my son is burning in front of me. I don't care what he was. He's gone now, and you trying to comfort me is just fingering the flesh wound. Ugh, gross. Don't bother. He wasn't even human. You shouldn't be so broken up about some wild animal that had every intention of killing you. He was human. I did tests. Genetically, he was no different from us. And he was an incredible artist. And he was thoughtful and kind. And most importantly, he was my son. Okay, lady, if you did genetic testing, you would figure out who his dad was. And not, you had some dreams and then you were pregnant. I am so confused. It, I don't know if smart is the right term here. I think just really used to this stuff. Dr. Kelly falls silent, the flames dancing across her tear-streaked face. I'm sorry, Joan. An acrid smell hangs in the air, the stink of burning flesh stinging your nostrils. But he's gone. There's only a charred pile of ash and bone where his writhing body once lay. Nothing moves. Nothing tries to mend itself. There's nothing left to be mended. I'm going to bed. Not a word of this to anyone, or there'll be hell to pay. You don't have to tell me twice. Dr. Kelly starts back down the hill towards the clinic, leaving the two of you next to the smoldering ashes. I'm parked down the hill. Let's get out of here. I need a shower. My hair smells like burning corpse. Okay, what about Stella? You follow Tabitha down the hill towards her car. The two of you make your way to the bottom of the hill where Tabitha's car is parked, among the sleepy houses of Scarlet Hollow's residential street. She places her gun in the trunk and turns to face you. You're alone right now. Is Stella still missing? I tried calling her a couple of times, but I kept getting her stupid voicemail. Yeah. The two of you are interrupted by the jingling of dog tags. Gretchen appears. What? Gretchen appears at the edge of the road, running as fast as her geriatric pug legs can carry her. Gretchen seems distressed. She whines as she stares up at you from the ground, eyes desperate, anxiously jumping back and forth and darting away when you try to lean down to her. Gretchen? But where's Stella? Let's follow her. You and Tabitha follow Gretchen into the woods. God, I hope she's not leading us to a body. Gretchen nervously runs ahead of you and Tabitha, looking back to make sure you're still there as she leads you into the dark woods. Before long, the trees thin and you find yourself on a steep hill by a two-lane road, lined on one side by sheer rock. There, sitting on a log staring mournfully out at the asphalt, is Stella. You watch her from the underbrush. Great, she's alive. Let's go. You should go talk to her, Tabitha. She'd probably be glad to see you. I don't know. We've got baggage. I'll just make things worse. No, you're right. She's been practically begging for us to be closer than we are. It's time I stopped letting my dead mother dictate who I'm allowed to talk to. Tabitha takes a step forward, gravel crunching beneath her boots as she walks along the side of the road towards Stella. Stella looks up. A tired smile spreads across her face at the sight of your cousin, standing awkwardly on the slight slope of the roadside. They talk, their voices quiet in the still night air. Achievement unlocked. I never forgot about you. After a while, they both stand and walk off into the forest together. Gretchen tucked under Stella's arms. It's time for you to go home. Come along now. It's quite a hike back to the estate. Oh, thanks, Wayne. He appears as if out of nowhere, clothes streaked with what at first looks like blood and gore, but you quickly realize is paint, evidence of his altercation with Reese. I'll walk you. Uh, no way, dude. I'm walking home by myself. You start walking up the road, Wayne's silhouette quickly fading into the dark of the night. But it's not long before you hear the slow, methodical thud of boots on the road behind you. You turn to confront your pursuer. Leave me alone. Even if you don't see me, I'm always there. You aren't getting rid of me. It's time you accepted that. Wayne walks just ahead of you in near complete silence. Did you know Reese was like that? I knew he was different. How exactly I wasn't sure, but now I know. I thought you wanted me to stay at the estate. Aren't you going to lecture me? You were free to make your own decisions, and those decisions have been made. I know that something pulls at you, and I know that now you cannot stop until your task is finished. I'll keep you safe while you do what you must. Why are you following me around? Why not Stella or Kanika or Sybil? Why not Tabitha? Because you're special. But why? Why am I so special? You simply are. Do you not feel the ties that bind us? They are unbreakable. Mm, I thought you might have done something bad to Stella. I didn't have to. She didn't have it in her to stand by your side. Remember that. She won't be there if you need her. You don't need to keep coming up with new topics of conversation to fill a silence. You're tired. It's been a long night. You should rest. Wayne remained silent for the rest of the journey back to the estate. Okay, that was very creepy. I'm sure we'll see each other tomorrow. You should try to spend some time in that old building before you head to town. Tabitha won't be around, too busy at the mines. Forbidden places won't be forbidden without her there to stop you, and you might be surprised at what you find. Until then, sleep well. He disappears into the underbrush. Oh, okay. The estate is empty, wind howling through its abandoned halls, the very foundations creaking beneath you. Exhausted beyond belief, you stumble into your room and collapse on the bed. The damp smell of the mattress is starting to become almost welcoming, a sign that the now daily horrors of Scarlet Hollow are finally behind you, at least until the sun inevitably rises once again. Close your eyes, your exhausted body succumbing to sleep almost immediately. As you drift off, you think of Reese and the way his mangled but still living body writhed in his funeral pyre. And then you think of nothing. Let's see. Achievement unlocked to the artist of Mice and Men and Homura Madoka. Oh my god. This is the end of episode 4. Follow us on social media. Okay, great. Let's save. And, uh, okay. Mm. Ooh, this is the alpha testers. Do I find myself? I should find myself. I totally did alpha testing, but oh well. Okay. All right. So we were forced to drink Sybil's tea. It made us forget that we saw the beans, the castor beans, at her place. And when Dr. Kelly was telling us who gave her the ricin, it like fizzed, like that memory is missing. I'm so confused. Oh God, so confused. I am sure that there are so many different other things that, yeah. Oh my God, I have to do other runs, I think, but for now, I guess this is what we got. Um, Yikes. definitely, definitely yikes. And definitely yikes. Well, I will do more playthroughs once I'm back from Montreal. Uh, I'll be back Monday night, like late Monday night, so Tuesday stream, probably going to be more of this stuff. Whoa, okay. Well, thank you for sticking with me, folks. And yeah, I gotta get a GTFO. All right. Bye, everybody.